right, everybody, here we go. We are the Lights Out Sports Podcast. Myself, Mike Valentine. There is my buddy Cheese. You know, he's the guy with the good hair and the microphone right by his mouth so we can make sure we hear every word that comes out of it. Cheese, how you been?
Been good. I haven't talked to you in 24 hours.
I know. It's been a little crazy, hasn't it?
Yes, if you guys watching now did not see, we did a draft recap special. We basically just talked about our favorite prospects by round. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. We did that last night, so make sure you check it out if you have not.
That's right, buddy. We are all ready to go. In fact, today we're going to do all of our Flamin' 5 and 5 will be all football. Then we're going to look at the end here. It will be our top 10, or as we like to call it, the Lights Out list. We will do the teams that we think had the best drafts. So we'll do those top 10 best drafts here at the end of the show. All right, man, we did a lot of stuff yesterday on football. Can we keep it rolling, buddy?
We can keep it rolling. Let's do it. There's a lot going on. We just had the NFL draft. It's a pretty big event.
It is a pretty big event, and you're right. There is a lot going on right at the moment. So I've got some pictures I'm going to do for part of this. I mean, I've been doing all kinds of stuff here. It's why we're a little behind. I'm rubbing my eyes because everything's going crazy over here and allergy season and all that stuff here in Arizona. But we are going to keep right on rocking and rolling here, buddy. Can't wait to get to that top 10. And we'll be doing college football this time. And a nice big chunk of the show will be MLB. I mean, there's two teams that have fired managers since the last time we did this show. There's been all kinds of crazy stuff. And somebody on this panel said, we've got to talk Nico Hoerner. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we will. And we're going to do a spotlight on one player from the National League and one player from the American League. And as we kind of do this, we're going to get your feedback and your opinion. Do you like that? And we're even going to ask you guys to help us name the segment. So we're going to do a spotlight on the National League and an American League guy. Just hang out with us for a little bit until you see who the American League player will be. All right, buddy. So let me make sure that I have all my stuff ready here, all the notes that I need put together. I don't think I do yet. Hold on. I can get it pretty quick. All right, so there we go. There's the Flamin' 5 and 5. I see it. All right, buddy. So, as you know, and as everybody else knows, even if you're a first time, let's explain it to you. The Flamin' 5 and 5 goes like this. I will give Cheese 5 questions. He has 5 minutes to answer them. And if he can do it, he will not burst into flames. But if he can't, oh my. Look out. It's going to get hot in here. All right. So, Cheese. Are you ready?
Let's do this.
Let's do it, he says. All right. The timer will start after I read the first question. Here we go. Cheese, the Steelers placed the rare UFA tender, unrestricted free agent tender, on Aaron Rodgers, meaning that he can accept a 10% raise off of last year's salary, which would basically pay him about $15 million this season. But as another condition of the tender, Rodgers would only be able to sign with the Steelers once training camp begins. So my question to you, sir, does this make a difference in the negotiations between Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I don't think it does at all. This was, I think, just in case someone has an injury. You know, what if, I don't know, I'm trying to think about, okay, what if Jordan, I hate to say this, but what if Jordan Love has an injury and he's out till week 10 or 11?
Oh, you better not. You better stop.
And they're like, well, I mean, it's the best example because he knows the offense. He knows the system. And he could come in and play the first 10, 11 games. And he's like, well, you know, look, just some hypothetical. They want to protect themselves. They can match any offer. Also, I could be wrong, but I read that they can get a comp pick if someone signs them because they did this as well, even though it's after the draft when you usually don't get comp picks. So I think that's the reason. It's just in case scenario, but I don't think he would play anywhere else but Pittsburgh. I think it's one more year in Pittsburgh if he plays, and that's it.
Okay. So the second question here, again, this is going to be all NFL on the 5 Flamin' 5 and 5. The Eagles have exercised the 5th-year option on both Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, and that's through 2027. Does this shock you, and why did they do it?
The Jalen Carter was a no-brainer. He's an incredible player. He's the reason they don't win the Super Bowl without him. They don't beat the Rams in that game without him. He just dominated that game in the divisional round. But divisional round. Nolan Smith shocks me. Has not done much. 10.5 sacks in 3 years. He's been hurt. He was hurt this past year. I'm surprised, but I guess they like his upside. He was a first-round pick, but that one surprised me.
All right, buddy. All right, that sounds good. Question 3. Free agent receiver Juan Jennings is visiting the Vikings today and tomorrow. How would he fit in Minnesota?
Juwan, yes.
Sorry.
They need a third receiver. Jalen Naylor left. I believe he signed with the Raiders. I could be wrong. He signed somewhere. So they need number 3 receiver besides Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson. Plus Jordan Addison is, every day if you're Minnesota's organization, you're like, please don't do something stupid and get suspended. He could be suspended any minute. It's happened before. So, he's more of a possession receiver, but he's coming off a really good year. I don't know what happened. I'm guessing he overplayed his hand as far as his value. Thought he was maybe a $20 million receiver, but he's not. I mean, he's having a good year, but he's not very fast, possession kind of receiver only. But they need a third weapon, third receiver. So I think he can fit any defense because, he's just big and he'll catch everything.
Okay. So 4th, you may not think this is a big deal, but I remember Cam Akers. So Seattle was releasing running back Cam Akers. Is he going to find a job somewhere else?
Probably not. I didn't even know he was still in the league. I thought he was out of the league like 2 years ago. I think Minnesota took a flyer on him a couple years ago. I had no idea. After they drafted Jadarian Price, he was, I guess, expendable. So no, he's toward the end of his career.
Okay. Last, I said this was going to be all NFL, and I lied because I forgot. The 5th question is MLB.
I was going to say, I was like,
I know.
Are you sure?
Okay, man. You should have seen me running around here with a chicken with my head cut off the last 10 minutes or so. So here's the last question. This is the first time the Braves have had 20-plus wins before May 1st in franchise history, Cheese. You are a big Braves fan. What is your expectations for the Atlanta Braves for the remainder of the season?
They're winning tonight. They're beating Detroit. One of 2 TVs has the game on. This one. That one. That one.
That one over there.
That one over there.
Okay.
This is a tough question because I think they have overachieved a little bit. I don't think they're this good, but at the same time, like they had a lot of guys with down year last year. The whole pitching staff at one point was injured. The whole starting pitching staff. So this is a talented team. I just don't think they're the best team in baseball, though. That's what their record is. So I'm cautiously optimistic, is what I'm saying. But Spencer Strider's about to come back. So with Chris Sale and they got some really good young pitchers, Didier Fuentes and J.R. Ritchie. Cautiously optimistic, but the bullpen's kind of banged up right now. So, but certainly one of the best 5 teams in the league.
Okay, so do they have to make the playoffs?
Oh, they better. Look, that division sucks except for the Braves. They should run away with it. I mean, the Phillies and Mets are a disaster. So make the playoffs. I mean, I hope by the All-Star break, they're up like 15 games compared to everybody else. Everybody else's division stinks.
All right. And you did it, buddy. But I want to ask a follow-up here. Does this mean win the division then?
Win the division? Yeah.
Yes.
They better. It's not like the NL Central where everyone's pretty good. There's one they're going to have an easy schedule because they play all those teams. They beat the crap out of the Phillies already this year. So I think they should run away with it. And they got to take advantage of the easy schedule. When you have a bad division, everyone else is bad, then you need to win those games. There was one year, it's been like 12, 15 years, but they just missed the playoffs. And then they had a horrible record against, I can't remember what team it was, like one of the worst teams in baseball. They had a losing record. They couldn't beat a bad team, and that cost them. So just beat up on the bad teams. Like I said, it's not the NL Central where no one's under 500. They're all pretty good.
All right. So we're going to get into another question here. You may see me typing here. I'm setting this up a little bit here. I've got some stuff. The old man's trying to do some things here. Shoot, there we go.
Okay, I can keep talking about the Braves. Okay.
Yeah, talk about the Braves for a minute. Go ahead.
Well, their closer is injured, Iglesias. So they got a couple bullpen guys out. If Aaron Bummer has to keep pitching 7th, 8th inning, they're going to start losing some games. The lefty reliever. So, but Dylan Lee surprisingly has looked good. Dylan Lee was always the guy that he's fine if you're up 8 or down 8, but anything in between, he stinks. But he has looked pretty good. So bullpen gets healthy. I mean, their pitching should be incredible. And Ozzie Albies and Matt Olson, who had down years last year, look right back to that all-star level. So that's huge for them. Michael Harris has looked better. And Drake Baldwin's he's turning into one of the best catchers in baseball. He's, won Rookie of the Year last year. What a 3rd round find with him.
Yeah, we'll talk about some of those players here in just a little bit. I'm ready to go here, buddy. Thanks for stalling for me. I appreciate it. So will MLB stop giving long-term contracts to players? That's your bonus question here. Well, okay. You got it. You did the 5 Flamin' 5 in the 5 minutes. You did not burst into flames. And now you get a bonus question. What do you think, Cheese? Will MLB stop doing all of these long-term contracts with players?
Are you talking about the free agent contracts when they hit free agency?
Yes. I tell you what, I've got a couple of things to show you. So let's do the first one. Okay. All right, here is Rafael Devers. Now, his face is a little cut off there, but that's okay. We don't want to see him anyway. This is, yeah.
Castellanos, 15 OPS plus. What were they thinking signing him? He stunk last year.
Correct. And that's what I'm looking at, right? Here are the numbers. OPS plus. Look at him. He is the worst in all of Major League Baseball. He is a negative 0.9 WAR, and his OPS is, what does that say, 61?
For Devers, yeah, 61 OPS. His WAR is actually worse. Probably because of his defense at first base.
Correct. Yeah. But what is his contract, Cheese? It's 10 years, $313.5 million. That's his contract.
Yeah. Well, look, Boston is the one who signed it, and then they traded him in that Bregman fiasco. But maybe the Red Sox, it worked out, But to answer your question, so what we're seeing in baseball, I got to mention this first, is we're seeing teams, Detroit's done this, Braves were kind of the first team to do it, Cubs have done it, Pittsburgh's done it. It's very important Pittsburgh does it, is they're signing guys when they're either their rookie year or maybe even when they're in AAA, like signing them to 8-year deals. We'll give you more upfront, but you're going to give us two or three extra years before you hit free agency, especially like a 19, 20-year-old. You can sign them an 8-year deal. They're still going to hit free agency at 28, 29 instead of 25, 26. So that's what we're seeing. Right. And free agent contracts, when they reach free agency, yeah, we saw that Bo Bichette, Kyle Tucker, 2 perfect examples. They got like 3 and 4 year deals. Teams were not willing to give them the 9, 10-year deal. So yeah, I think that's the future of baseball. I think free agency in baseball, you're going to start seeing years where there's just hardly any good players because there's so many locked up to long-term deals. We're seeing that more and more. And the Braves, first team to do it. They did it with Austin Riley, did it with Michael Harris, did it with Acuna, Ozzie Albies. They were like the first team to really do that. And a lot of teams are copying it now.
All right. So one of the teams that's copying it is the San Diego Padres. Again, his face is a little cut off, but we don't want to see him anyway. So look at this. These are his home run-less streaks. And all of them but one. 6 of the 7 of them have been within the last year and a half. You can see 14, 17 days without a home run, 21 days without a home run, 27 days without a home run, and he's currently 29. I know that says 28, but that was 2 days ago. 29 games without a home run. They locked him up. So what do you think about, was that a mistake to lock up a guy like that?
I think you would know this. I'm not 100%. Didn't he get suspended right after they locked him up? Did he get suspended for PEDs?
He did. Okay. And then his contract, let's go over it real fast. His contract is 14 years,
Wow, I didn't know that.
$340 million that he signed in February of 2021. So he is locked up through the 2034 season.
I mean, he was young when he did it, but still 14 years, they're going to be mid-30s at least.
Yes. But you just said a few minutes ago that's what's going to start happening, right? We're going to start locking up people young.
Young, but it's not 14 years. That's crazy because what these young players are still, they still want to be free agents when they're 28, 29, 30. The 14-year deal is probably not going to happen anymore. I think Bryce Harper had a 13-year deal. Teams are going to get smarter. They're not doing that because when you do that, look at the Albert Pujols contract. That was amazing the first 3, 4, 5 years for the Angels.
It's interesting you bring up Albert Pujols. You don't even know what's coming, but this is fantastic. Okay. Go ahead.
But Albert Pujols, he signs with the Angels. The Cardinals are like, we're not matching that. We're not giving him that. And so 3, 4, maybe even 5 years, he was terrific. By the end, those last few years, he was a disaster. He couldn't hit. He couldn't field. So when you sign someone that you have to know the last 3 or 4 years, you're probably stuck with him and they're going to get overpaid. Alfonso Soriano, the Cubs gave him a big year deal. Toward the end of that, he was awful. So we'll start seeing probably, the 14-year deal is probably done. We'll probably never see that again. Okay. Even the best prospect in baseball won't do that because they're going to want to still hit free agency when they're 29, 30, maybe 31. That contract's, it's funny. Tatis, it looks, at least he can play defense. That's all I'm going to say. If PCA struggling, okay, at least he's playing elite defense. So can Tatis. He's a Gold Glover. So, yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you for watching, Raman. I believe that's what that means. The 2 eyes, right?
Yes. Okay. Yes, she is watching. Yes.
Well, that's great. We love it. And we got a whole bunch of people watching. We're almost to 50. We haven't even got to the first segment yet. But when I said Albert Pujols and you mentioned him, and I said, oh, you don't even know what's coming. So the old man over here is finally figuring out how to put pictures up here. If you haven't noticed it yet, and I'm going all crazy, going, look what I can do. Look what I can do. I feel like the guy on In Living Color. Remember the little kid? What was his name? Stewie or something like that? Whatever that little kid's name was.
I never watched that.
Never watched it? Help me out, guys. I mean, I know somebody on here. Whoa, we're over 50. Thank you, guys. I know somebody on here is going to know what that was.
I think I was a little too young for that.
You could have been. You could have been. In Living Color. Jim Carrey started before he started doing all the movie stuff. So, excuse me, that was great podcasting right there. Blew everybody's ears off. All right, so let's look at the last picture because, geez, if you've signed Devers and you've signed Tatis and we're weary of those contracts, holy crap, what's this kid going to get? You ready? Sal Stewart. April and March, 29 RBIs so far this season. He has beat Miguel Cabrera, Juan Soto, Jackson Chourio, and the guy you just mentioned, Albert Pujols. He has the most RBIs ever in Major League Baseball through the first month of the season. What's he going to get when he wants a contract extension?
Well, I don't think now's the time to try to extend him. Wait till he hits a slump. If he hits a slump, yeah, he is. I just was curious while you're asking that. I looked at my fantasy league. He's a number 3 overall player right now. I have number 1 and 3. No wonder I'm in first place. I have Yordan Alvarez as well. And Drake Baldwin second, catcher for the Braves. That's crazy. No,
we'll mention him later too.
So Sal Stewart. Okay. There are so many good rookies. This is the year of the rookie. Last year was terrible. There were hardly any good rookies. There were only like Cade Horton and Drake Baldwin might not have sniffed the rookie of the year last year, or if they were in a rookie this year. But like Sal Stewart, I mean, he's been one of the best hitters in baseball. Moises Ballesteros is hitting like 370, 380, and he wouldn't even. It would probably be unanimous for Sal Stewart if they did the voting right now. That's how incredible Sal Stewart has been. 29 RBIs. It is April 28th, and he's a rookie.
Yes, all those things are true.
And he steals bases too, because I know for my fantasy team. Boy, drafting him was smart.
So you said it's the year of the rookie, Cheese. I'm going to do one more picture. Well, I'll do more pictures throughout the show because, all of a sudden I know what I'm doing now and I can do it. So you said it's the year of the rookie. Today, the Cleveland Guardians called up a rookie. Do you know who that was?
I think it's Travis. You're going to have to help me with the last name. I can't. Bazana. Is that
Bazana, that's right. And here we are. This is the list. Notable 2024 first-round draft picks. Look at this. Number 1 has made his debut. Number 2, Chase Burns with the Cincinnati Reds. He has made his debut. 4, Nick Kurtz. I don't know who 3 was. I didn't have enough time to look him up. We skip over 5, now 6. Jack Caglione.
3 was the Georgia outfielder to the Rockies. He had like 39 home runs in college, and he's been a big disappointment so far in the minors. Sorry,
Okay.
Anyway, I mean, I draft, you know.
And I mean, look at this. So you've got 1, you got 2, you got 4, you got number 6, you got number 7, J.J. Weatherhold, right? He's going to be a star, we're pretty sure. And then you've got Christian Moore. Connor Griffin, of course, is number 9 in this draft. Cam Smith with the Houston Astros, another really good prospect, was taken 10. Carson was taken number 19. And then Trey Savage, of course, most of us probably know who that is, was taken with the 20th pick in that draft. So, yeah. The year of the rookie, it has been the last couple of years, actually, especially with that 2024 class. It has been the year of the rookie.
Yeah, Cam Smith was actually drafted by the Cubs, but they traded him for Kyle Tucker.
Yuck, right?
No, I wasn't happy at the time. I'm definitely not happy now because he can really hit.
Yeah, yes, he can. Yes, he can. All right, so we've got to switch here because we've got to give you the best graphic in all of podcasting. And ladies and gentlemen, here it comes. All right, Cheese, there it is. The best graphic in all of podcasting. I mean, what's not to love? A great big baseball, some fire, and everything else, man. We're going to talk about the Phillies. We're going to talk about Don Mattingly, Nico Hoerner. I'll save the American League. I'll tell you it's a pitcher that we'll talk about here as well. And then we're going to talk about the Boston Red Sox. And then we're going to get into our new segment at the end, Hitting Cleanup. It's brought to you by Forward Fan. We'll talk more about Forward Fan here in just a little bit. So, Cheese, let's start with the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies have fired head coach Rob Thomson. So Don Mattingly, the former bench coach, is replacing Thomson. Are you happy like I am that Mattingly is getting another coaching opportunity?
No, I could care less. I don't think he was ever any good. I don't think there's any team he's been on he's ever elevated. So I don't know. I guess you like him. I don't know. I just don't think there's any team he's like, oh, wow, look what Mattingly did for them.
I do like him. And I'll tell you guys this. I was searching for something to do for the Sports Pulpit. I had 2 or 3 things, and I'm like, I might do this. Oh, I might do that. I'm going to do a series this week on Don Mattingly. I like him really well, and I think I can point out some things that may sway your opinion. But the biggest thing for me is he is like the Sports Pulpit podcast that I'm doing. There's no screaming, there's no yelling, there's no cussing. You don't need to do all of that stuff to get your point across, in my opinion. And Don Mattingly is that guy. He's the smooth talker. He, no yelling. He doesn't have to throw things or anything like that to get his point across. And he's so respected in the game because of what he did as a player. Tune into the Sports Pulpit. You'll find out more about that. But that's why I like him, and that's why I want him to get another shot. In this day and age where people think they have to yell and scream about everything, he's just the opposite, and that's why I like him.
But you don't miss Lou Piniella?
I love Lou. Lou got inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame over the weekend, as you may have seen. But him, let's go with Bobby Knight or somebody like that. We love his antics or their antics, but they're kind of over the top. There's no need to throw a base. There's no need to throw chairs. What do you think about this? Let me put it to you this way. If you've got to do antics like that to get your point across, what does that say about you as a person or even as a coach?
I don't know what happened, but my headphones see the red light, they turned off. I don't know what happened.
Oh, are you good though? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but barely. But I don't know what happened to my headphones. I don't know what these buttons do, but see that red light? It's not
Uh-huh.
on.
That means there's tons of brains in that head. That's what
I was
it means.
adjusting it, and then I hit something. All right, try talking now.
Okay, here we go. I'm talking more. No. That's all right. We got Cheese out for a second. You can see he's messing with his headphones right there. Some of the stuff happens sometimes. We get these technical difficulties and all that. So, Don Mattingly, one of the reasons why I like him so much is because, he is the mild-mannered man. He was also nicknamed Donnie Baseball, and he was nicknamed the Hitman. So because he was nicknamed the Hitman, let me do something here real fast. I want to promote this. Cheese, are you back with us?
Yeah, I mean, I can hear you, just not as well because I can't use the headphones. So
that's okay.
I have to talk. I had to switch to the camera mic.
Yeah, you're good. We can hear you. It sounds a little different, but we can still hear you. Everything's fine. Donnie Baseball. He was also named I lost it here. The Hit Man, and I wanted to, while we're doing that, pull up this to add to the stage real quick. Yes, this is the picture by the Hit Machine. This is the card that we're giving away over on the Red Hot Reds podcast, also on Minor League Monday. There it is. That's the kid's name. That's the autograph that's right there. And you can see down bottom left-hand corner, that card is numbered as well. All you have to do is go over and see them. When you get over there, you follow the Hit Machine, you follow them, and that's all you have to do. Just get with them, look at the rules, and be able to be put into that drawing for that card. All right, buddy. So you're back with us. We really appreciate that. Here's the other thing, and we've got some things to look at in this whole Phillies firing the head coach thing. So Don Mattingly's son, Preston, is the Phillies general manager. Do you see any conflicts there?
He's the general manager of the whole team? Are you sure?
Yes, he is.
Dave Dombrowski?
Yes, Preston Mattingly is, Don Domkowski has a different title.
Oh, okay. But he's in charge. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, because this happened, he was already there. They're both already there. I mean, I think Don Mattingly's logical choice if you fire the manager because he's already in the organization. He's got experience, so I don't think it's a problem.
Right. So
if he was making the decisions, maybe, but Dombrowski's making the decisions. So
I'm trying to look up Dombrowski and find out what his actual title is, but it's Dombrowski, for God's sake. I can't spell it.
He and Bryce Harper aren't really close.
No, he is not. Not whatsoever. Yeah, there we go. There's all kinds of. Oh, it's Dave Dombrowski. That's why I can't get it. So he serves as the president of baseball operations, is his actual title. So he's president of baseball operations, and then Preston Mattingly is the general manager. So
every team has weird titles.
Yeah.
What was it, like executive vice president of football operations? Some of these people, that's their title.
Right. So the Phillies, Cheese, let's get into this part of it, because I think this is interesting too. The Phillies have lost 11 of 12 games against two clubs, the Braves and the Cubs. Do you think the schedule could have something to do with this and their rocky start?
I mean, it's not helping. Those two teams, especially the Braves, are having really good April. The Cubs are great as long as they don't play on the West Coast, but the Dodgers and Padres, they're having trouble all of a sudden. But yeah, I mean, that's part of it. And they're going to start playing other teams in the division aren't very good. But their problem is more than that. But certainly the Braves just absolutely destroyed them.
But I also have to say, Cheese, I don't like this whole, playing the same teams in the same week or, within a 10-day period or something like that. I don't like that. When you play a team Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then, you have another team on, we'll have an off day, and then you'll do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you'll turn right back around and play that same team again the following Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I don't like that. Do you like that as far as the scheduling part?
I don't. It's the way it's always been, though. When I was a little kid, they would do that. But here's what I don't like it is so like the Cubs and Phillies, they won't play each other again this year. They're done. They've already played their two series. Braves and Phillies will, because they're in the same division, play more games. But Yeah, sometimes you're mid-April, you're done with a team for the year. I don't like that. I wish they would spread them out. And like you said, Phillies are struggling, like Cubs are not. So what happens? Yes, Cubs won, I think, 5 of 6 against them. They lost the first game and then beat them the next 5. So, yeah, I've never liked that, but it's just the way the schedule is for whatever reason.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be. And I, especially like you're talking, I understand it if it's 2 teams in the same division. But if it's 2 teams in opposite divisions, I just don't like that at all.
Yeah, and it's like you could get lucky. So you might play a team in April that thinks they're going to make the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, say the Angels are playing Houston in April, and Houston's going for it, and then Houston's off to a bad start this year. Then maybe the A's play them a bunch in September, and they traded their veterans. They sold at the deadline. They're not nearly as good a roster. So this one team has to play them when their roster is better than the other, too. If you play them all in 1 month and all in 2 weeks, it's just kind of it doesn't make any sense to me. I agree with you.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if that doesn't have something to do with it, but well, it's neither here nor there. I guess it's done. It's over with. It's so the numbers, cheese. Oh my gosh. I know that I was writing all this stuff really last minute, and I went through and especially the Phillies part, I added all of this because it just happened today, and I had to do a bunch of research on this team because I hadn't been following them or anything really. So here, ladies and gentlemen, listen to these stats. The starting ERA is at 5.30. Cheese, how many teams are in Major League Baseball?
30.
30. So their starting ERA is 5.30. It's 30th. Their reliever
5.8. I think it's 5.80.
Yeah, 5.80. What did I say?
I think you said 5.3. I was like, no, that's like the Rockies or the White Sox.
It's bad, but not Phillies bad, right? Phillies bad is 5.80. They're 30th of the 30 teams. Their reliever ERA is 4.28. So let's say you're the manager, right? You're like, okay, our starters are doing terrible, so our relievers are going to come in and do much better. And they are not. So 4.28 ERA for the relievers. That's 18th in baseball, again, out of 30 teams. Weighted runs created plus, it's 83. That's 29th out of the 30 teams.
For people who don't know, that's 17% below the average. League average. So they're 17% below league average as a team hitting.
As a team, yes. Correct. Because average is 100. They're at 83. There we go. We're using math right now. 17% less. Yes. Extra bases taken percentage, 35th. They are 35% in the extra bases taken percentage. Again, a stat that some of you are like, oh man, you're pulling stuff out of the woodwork here. But they're 28th. So when they get a hit, and they don't get hits very often. When they do, they don't even take the extra base. They're one of the worst teams in the league at doing it. Productive outs, right? You got a guy on first, and you're going to hit it somewhere to where he can get the second. Or you've got a guy on second, you're trying to get him to third, so you hit it to the right side. They can't even do that right. They're 19.4 in productive outs. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, 30th out of the 30 teams. Defensive runs saved. Again, they're 30th out of the 30 teams at negative 19. Negative 19. So are these
things? That means they've given up, 19 more runs than they should have.
Yes.
And it's April 28th.
They played 29 games, and they've given up 19 more runs than they should have. Ow.
And that's without Nick Castellanos playing in right field.
That's true. He's in San Diego now.
Well, I mean, we knew their defense wasn't going to be great, but we didn't. I'm sure they thought their pitching would be a lot better than this. And the hitting. We talked about this when we did our previous show. After Trey Turner and Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber, we look at the rest of their lineup. It's just like, it's not good.
No,
they got bad. And Alec Baum has been a disaster. But, I mean, I think the defense you knew would be not so hot, but they expected to be much better pitching and hitting for sure.
All right. So then the last 2 things here on the Phillies, and we're going to move to Nico Hoerner. Are these things all Thompson's fault? And do you think Mattingly can just suddenly come in and ride in on the white horse and fix everything?
No, not Thompson's fault. But usually when this happens, and it happened to the Red Sox too, I believe.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk about them in a minute.
the executive people in charge, one, don't want to blame themselves. So they need someone to blame, manager. Two, sometimes a change, it's just good to make a change. A new voice can help, can change your team. Maybe that's what they're doing with Mattingly. So that's usually why it happens. The manager or the head coach in other sports or manager usually gets too much praise and too much blame, right? For the team. Because they're not pitching or hitting or whatever. So yeah, I don't think most of this is probably not Thompson's fault. Maybe he could have done a better job, but this is usually what happens when team has high expectations like they did and get off to a terrible start.
Right. Just because it's easier to fire one than it is to fire 25, right?
Yeah. And yeah, like I said, Dombrowski's not going to blame himself. He's like, I put together a good team. It's got to be your fault. I'll say this, Zach Wheeler just came back. He missed most of the month of April. So their starting pitching ERA will probably get better with him. And Aaron Nola, you talk about long-term contracts. They signed him like 70 or 175 million 3 years ago. He is a disaster right now. Like he's pitching like he should be in AAA. So, and they have him for 4 more years locked in. 7 years, 175, I believe they signed him in free agency. It's like, wow, that he has been terrible for them this year. And, he's not going anywhere.
No, he signed 7 years, 172 million. So,
172. And you know what? The Braves tried to sign him and they were very involved. And I wonder if they just got that price up. So Phillies had to pay him more. I wonder if they never really going to sign him, but yeah.
Pretty smart to do in their division.
Second contracts for pitchers can be a disaster.
Yes, they can. All right, so that's the Phillies. We're going to take a look at a couple people here. We're going to shine a spotlight on one National League person and one American League person. You said last week we've got to talk about Nico Hoerner, and I agree. I've got a bunch of stats on him. I'm sure you've got some more because he's your guy right at the moment in Chicagoland. So all of these things are in 29 games and 136 plate appearances. So let's qualify and quantify that right off the bat, right? So right now he has 13 walks and 14 Ks. What do you think about that? I love that stat.
The big thing with him was he didn't take a lot of walks. He was kind of a free swinger, but he's done that this year. And as soon as he did, they moved him to the leadoff spot immediately. So yeah, I'm very impressed. He's the best contact hitter in baseball, probably.
Him and Sal, right?
Sal Sal's got crazy numbers. Luis Arias probably up there too, but yeah.
I'm sure he is. Let me give you another one here. He has 24 RBIs. Now, a few years ago, back in 2024, so right now, remember we said 29 games. So currently, Nico Hoerner has 24 RBIs in 29 games.
Hitting leadoff.
Hitting leadoff, yes. That's a big part of it, too. I'm glad you brought that up. Leadoff guys usually don't get the RBIs. They are the runs that are batted in. They're not getting the RBIs. So back in 2024, in 151 games, he had 48 RBIs. So Nico Hoerner has half the amount of RBIs this year that he did in 2024. Instead of in 151 games, he's done it in only 29 games. What do you think about that crazy stat?
It's crazy. He's hitting more pop too. It's not just walking more. His swings elevated a little more, so he's hitting more pop as well. And he's so clutch. He's always so good in runners in scoring position. He always has been. So, yeah, it's crazy. And when they signed into that contract extension, like 6 years, 141 million, some people criticized it. Oh, that's way overpay. No, it's an underpay now. He is playing amazing, and he plays Gold Glove defense. He's currently 1.5 WAR, which is fifth in all of baseball among hitters. Sal Stewart, they're both tied for fifth.
Imagine that. Yes. All right, so let me give you a couple other ones. I'm going to dig deep here on some of these things, because you guys know me by now. I'm the stat guy. I love all these stats. If you've ever seen CENT with a percentage mark, right? CENT percent, that means center field percentage. So he's hitting the ball into center field. 54.7% of the time, Nico Hoerner hits the ball to center field. And what that tells me is that he is on over 50% of the pitches. he's not late, he's not early. They don't go to left, they don't go to right. 54.7% of the time, he hits the ball to center field. I think that's a pretty good stat too.
Yeah, he loves slapping it kind of up the middle or in the gaps. Single doubles there. He loves doing that. There's so many plays where with 2 strikes, he just, he's a right-hand hitter. He'll just serve it into right center, just with 2 strikes. You're going to pitch me outside, I'll serve it in there. So, yeah, he's just a really, really good hitter. He's kind of like a old school, like Mark Grace, Tony Gwynn type, Wade Boggs. You don't see those much anymore. And I wish we did. I really like those kind of hitters.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let me give you one more stat here, and then if you want to give some stats, then feel free. This is my last one. It's XBT percent. So it's extra bases taken percent. Remember we talked about earlier the Phillies, they did not take the extra base. They were 28th in baseball at doing it. Not Nico Hoerner. Nico Hoerner takes the extra base and gets it 69.2% of the time. So not only does he get a hit, he gets an extra base hit because he is so aggressive on the base pads. Especially for a leadoff guy, that's extremely important. Go ahead, Cheese.
It's pretty incredible. His strikeout percentage is like 10%. His ISO, which is slugging plus average, isolated power, was 0.097 last year. That doesn't have nothing to do with batting average, but it's 0.097. This year it's 0.161. So almost double his slugging. So he's hitting 4 more extra bases. He already has 7 stolen bases already this year, and 29 all of last year. So he's on pace to get probably close to 40. He had 7 home runs all of last year. He's got 4 already this year in the first month. I mean, it's pretty incredible what he's doing already this year. And Fangraphs says he's worth 1.6 WAR. So maybe 1.5 on MLB, and now Fangraphs has him 1.6. So
depends on where you look at. There's stats for everything now. Yeah. But I tell you what, what I can say with extreme confidence is not only is he good right now, but he continues to improve. There is not a stat where he is regressing from the last few years to now. He's improving on everything.
His WRC plus, runs created plus, we know hundreds league average.
Yep.
Last year was 109. Okay. He's 137 this year. 137 WRC plus. Wow.
Impressive. Very impressive.
Yes.
Any more praises you want to put on Nico Hoerner before we move on to our Anaheim Angel player?
Just that he won the Gold Glove. He's 5th in hitting WAR, 9th in fielding WAR in all of baseball. So he's top 10 in both. So probably the favorite to win the Gold Glove again at second base.
Probably so. All right. Let's talk about an Anaheim Angel. And I know you're like, what? An Anaheim Angel? Yes, we pretty much have to. It's a starting pitcher for them. He's doing absolutely fantastic here. Let's do a few of these scores real quick, buddy. So let's see. Atlanta's over Detroit 5-0. Seattle's over Minnesota 2-1 in the 7th. Chicago White Sox 4-1 over the Angels that we're getting ready to talk about in the 7th. Milwaukee is pounding Arizona right at the moment 8-2. The Yankees are over Texas 1-0, and Chicago and San Diego are scoreless in the bottom of the 1st. So the guy we've got to talk about, and I'm looking up their record right at the moment, the Los Angeles Angels. They're
terrible. Their record's terrible this year. Yeah, they're not good at all. Yeah.
Their record's 12-18.
Yeah.
But this guy's won 5 of those 12 games. So far in the season, Jose Soriano.
Yes.
5 starts. He's 5-0 with a point, not like 4-point or 3-point or 2. He is .24 ERA.
Yes.
It's absolutely insane.
His WAR last year was 2.3 for the season. What do you think it is right now?
I don't have that stat in front of me. Let's see. WAR.
I was just seeing. Want to guess?
1.6.
2.7.
2.7.
It's
wow.
April. He's worth more in April this year in 6 starts than 31 starts last year. He had a 4.26 ERA last year, 1.4 WHIP. It's 0.82 WHIP this year. Oh my God. It's insane what he's doing. He's given up 1 run all year.
Right. 1 run. Do you know who? It was a solo home run. Do you know who hit it?
I do not.
You should. I told you earlier we'd mention him again.
Sal Stewart.
Your rookie of the year in Atlanta.
Oh, Drake Baldwin did it?
Drake Baldwin did it, yes. He hit the only solo home run off of Soriano. That's the only run he's given up all year long in 37 2/3 innings.
Was that the first week of it? Didn't they play it in the first week? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that was the
first week. He gave up a run the first week and hasn't given up jack squat since. It's crazy. One solo home run and I believe 18 hits. In 37 2/3 of an inning. So his strikeout to walk ratio, 13 walks, 43 strikeouts.
13 walks, that's a little high.
Not when you do 43 strikeouts.
But he's got 43 strikeouts in 37 2/3 innings. So that's pretty darn good. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's funny how many 13 walks. Only 18 hits in 37 innings. So, yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, this guy, we need to spotlight some of these players, I think. Cheese, I kind of like doing this. You said, well, we got to do Nico Horner. And I was looking through stats and stuff. And I'm like, all right, let's do a National League and American League guy. And we're going to ask. We've got over 50 people with us just on X live. That's not counting the YouTube stuff. We're on, we're 55 people right now just on X alone. So what are you hiding part of your face for, sir?
So it's so funny. While you were doing your notes, you said, keep talking about the Braves. I said, it's scary if Aaron Bummer has to pitch. It was 5-0. Now it's 5-2 Braves because he just gave up a 2-run homer. And Aaron Bummer, man, he sucks. The depth of the bullpen is scary. Oh, he hung that pitch right down the middle. So somebody for the Tigers just hit a 2-run homer. Anyway, 5-2 Braves lead in the 9th.
Right, it's the 9th though. I predict they're going to hang on, but so
not if Bummer pitches.
But you got over 50 people with us on X right now. We're on my personal Facebook. You can look the name up right there, and you can see it if you're a Facebook person. We're on Cheese's YouTube. We're on our YouTube. Ours is look at the merch. Look at the little mug check right there. Looking at the merch. Yes, sir. That looks nice. I mean, it doesn't look as good, it's covering up most of your face, but okay.
This is what sells the podcast.
It does. It does, 100%. So we're on both of those. We're on Twitch right now. We're on X. We are going to be tomorrow. We'll be available on Spotify, on Apple Music, and on iHeartRadio. So you'll be able to get us anywhere and everywhere. And we appreciate everything that you guys are doing for us right now as we continue to grow All Gloves Off Sports Media. So we've given out all the stats, I think, on Nico. We've given out a ton of stats on Soriano. We want our fans to help us name this segment, kind of, spotlight or shining bright or something, right? Because it has to do with lights, right? So we want to do something. We're asking for a name. You guys can help us out. You can message us right now. If you watch it later and you've got a name, simply direct message me on the Twitter account, and we'll get it there as well. Let's move on, Cheese. The Boston Red Sox have cleaned house. Mm-hmm. They fired manager Alex Cora and 5 members of his coaching staff, and when they did so, they were 10-17. So what do you think about all the firings, or actually it's kind of more than firings? They literally cleaned house.
Yeah, that was strange. They brought in, usually you fire the manager, maybe one other. They made a lot of moves. They obviously, you don't make all those moves unless you think there's a lot of problems. It's not like the Phillies. The Braves actually won. Bummer didn't blow it. It's not like the Phillies, we need to make a move. The fan base isn't happy, so we need to do something different. This was, in the middle of the season, you rarely see this. They gutted a bunch of people. So the Red Sox are just a total mess right now. The way they handled the offseason, the Bregman, just the way they've started this year.
And look at the questions. Don't jump ahead.
Oh, sorry.
I know I was late getting you the note, so I can't fault you too much here. So you talked about Bregman. Can Craig Breslow be a good GM? They messed up the Devers thing. It doesn't really look like that was a huge deal now by what he's doing, but they also messed up the Bregman situation. What do you think about Breslow and his front office?
Really disappointed in him. I thought he'd be better. I remember when he was, I don't know what his title was, but he had some kind of high title with the Cubs. That's where he came from. And a lot of some Cub bloggers, some content creators were really upset that they lost him. Like, oh no, like he's done such a good job with, the minors and the pitching and all this. Like everyone was really upset. Honestly, I think the pitching and the system's gotten better since he left. I don't think he's done a good job at all. I think they just gradually get worse. And you mentioned the Bregman situation. They didn't think the Cubs had a higher thing, and they called his bluff. They wouldn't. He wanted to stay with Boston if they matched the Cubs' offer, and that they don't like to give no trade clauses. Other teams do. It's almost like he's stubborn, stuck in his ways, and it's led to them being a bad team. They're not below average. They're bad this year.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was coughing there when you stopped. You have to time your stops better. So you were saying, yes, he was with the Cubs from 2019 to 2023, and his title there with the Cubs was Assistant General Manager / Vice President of Pitching. Yes. That's what he was with the Chicago Cubs.
He was supposed to, they hired him to, because the Cubs had done such a poor job developing pitching, and they hired him to do it. But since he's left, I think the pitching development's gotten actually better. So I just don't think he's done a good job at all with Boston. And they have resources. It's not like they're the Pirates or the Brewers. They have the Guardians. They have resources. So
and that's you're doing really well here. I don't know if you know it or not, but you're leading me right into the next question.
I did not know. I didn't have time to get before the notes. I have no idea.
But they do. You're 100% right. They have tons of resources. They're the Boston Red Sox. One of the best stadiums in baseball. People will pay tons of ticket prices. People get behind that team, whether they're good or not, kind of like Chicago. So in 2026, Cheese, their payroll is actually $256 million. That's seventh in all of baseball. Now, I'm going to give you this statement, and I want to see how much of it you either.
Wow.
Yeah, $256 million, seventh in baseball.
What do they spend their money on?
That's what I'm getting to here, buddy. Stop it. So I can't stand the Dodgers, but at least they spend their money wisely for the most part. But you're looking at these teams, the Mets, the Phillies, the Blue Jays to a certain extent. They should be dominating with where they are in payroll, and the Boston Red Sox are in the same boat. So which one do you think is worse? Do you think it's worse for the Dodgers to have this huge payroll, but at least be leading their division? Or is it worse for a team to spend as much as they do, like the Red Sox and the Jays and all of those, and be so far down in their divisions?
I don't know what's worse. I think they're just, I don't know if you can make a correlation, but because I don't think the Dodgers should be able to spend that much. There should be some kind of cap, like hard cap or really harsh penalties that are so strong you can't go over. Like you don't get to pick before the fifth round, or every other year you don't get any international money or something. Like if you spend that much, there needs to be harsher penalties. There's no cap, but there's nothing more devastating for a franchise when you're spending a lot of money, you're over the luxury tax, and you suck. Or you go out and sign this big free agent or one or two, and they're terrible. You extend Aaron Nola, and he can't pitch anymore. That's devastating because you're stuck with them. So to answer your question, I think it's worse what's happening to Red Sox, Phillies, and Mets.
Yeah, see, I'm with you. They should be able to they should be able to spend their money wisely and know exactly what they're doing and all of that kind of thing. So it bothers me a little bit. I mean, I don't like what the Dodgers are doing either, but at least they're winning with the money that they're spending. I'd hate to be a Mets fan right now watching that team just collapse. I'd hate to be a Phillies fan right now watching that team just collapse right before my eyes. And you're thinking, okay, well, they must not have spent very much money in the offseason, or they must not know. Yes, they did. They're all in the top 10 payroll wise. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's worse.
Yeah. Mets had a 10-game losing streak. I think the Phillies had a 9. So you can't have that at all in a year. I mean, I don't have a stat on this. I kind of wish I had looked this up, but I wonder if anyone's ever even come close to winning a World Series with even like a 7-game losing streak, let alone 9 or 10. Like, I doubt it. Cubs 2-0. Dansby Swanson 2-run double. It's my boy, and he did it off Walker Buehler, former Vanderbilt teammate. There you go.
There you go.
Walker Buehler's just not what he used to be. He's not.
No, he's not. He absolutely is not. All right, so we got one more piece here on the Boston Red Sox.
Okay.
That we need to get to here real fast, and that's this. Trevor Story said, let me give you some quotes.
Okay.
So he said, the reason given to the players was not sufficient as to why they fired Alex Cora and 5 other members of his staff. So then he went on to say, it's up in the air. This is a quote. It's up in the air what the true direction of this franchise is. If this shows us anything, it's we're here to play baseball, and that's it. We don't make decisions. We don't have any input on any of that. So based on those quotes, Cheese, does management owe explanation to players, or do they owe more of an explanation possibly to veteran players like Trevor Story?
Yeah, it's just telling what he said. He said, we don't make decisions. We don't have any input. That's he's basically calling them out. They made bad decisions.
Mm-hmm. That's the way I took it too.
Yeah, they made bad decisions. Don't blame us. Alex Bregman should be right there playing next to me, but he's not. I think it was a shot at the front office. To be honest, Trevor Story, I don't know. I haven't seen his stats this year, but he's been a disappointment since they got him. But I don't know. So it's not like he's just their star player that's been amazing. So I don't know if he's the one who should be talking. But maybe there's some middle ground here. I mean, you want the veteran leaders to speak up when needed to, but at the same time, I don't think this helps anything. So maybe just shut up and play baseball. Yeah,
I'm with you there. So that's kind of the second part to this. Yeah. Should the players just shut up and play baseball, or maybe there's a middle ground somewhere where the front office can talk, but yet they should still shut up and play baseball? What do you think about that? Maybe.
Are you saying when you say middle ground, do you think like there should be time where they meet with the front office and discuss like once a week or some go-between maybe? Is that what you're talking about? Like a player, like maybe a couple veteran captains, maybe a pitcher and a hitter meet with the front office and kind of.
Yeah, I mean, so you make a captain. This would be exactly how I do it, G. So you'd structure it this way, right? You make a captain. So if that's, let's say it's Trevor Story, because we're talking about him right at the moment, right? So Trevor Story's the captain. If I'm the front office, I meet with the captain like once a week, right? And not only do I want to meet with the captain just to talk to him, but I want to get the feel in the locker room, right? I want to ask him, so how's everything going? Is there something going on that we need to know about? Is there somebody that's going against what we want to, that we maybe need to trade or get rid of and get out of that locker room? Is there what do we need? Hey, we're coming up on the trade deadline. What do you think we need? Kind of that kind of thing. And then Trevor Story goes back to the team and says, hey, I talked with Breslow today, and here's what we discussed, and something such as.
Yeah, I like that. The only thing is like management's management, players play. Like you don't want to give them too much control, too much, and like then they're complaining, and then there might be some tension, some resentment. Like this is a tricky question because
yes, it is.
I like the middle road thing, like, but at the same time, like one thing annoying about Aaron Rodgers was he was trying to tell, like he would bitch about the front office not drafting a receiver in the first round. Well, if it's not the best player on the board, it's not the best player on the board. You shouldn't reach for a receiver just because you want another weapon. They've had Packers had a lot of success with receivers on day 2. So I don't, that kind of annoyed me. I don't think that the players should have like say in management, but at the same time that maybe there should be some kind of communication.
Okay, and we will. It's funny you bring up Aaron Rodgers because we're going to talk about this a little more when we get to our college football segment here in a few moments, and we talk about one Ty Simpson. We'll dive into that subject really deep here in just a few moments when we're done with MLB here. So, yeah, I kind of think there could be a really good middle ground. Just saying. Especially, I guess it just depends on who your manager is. There are some people. I mean, I work with over 300 people every day, and there are some people who their management style is do what I tell you, and then if you go, well, why am I doing this? They say because I told you so. Now go do it, and you're like, oh, well, okay, or they're like, I need you to go do that, and you're like, well, I think we should do it this way, and then the two of you kind of talk it out, and you come to a resolution at the end. So it also depends on the kind of manager you've got in your clubhouse, I think, as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's very different management styles for sure. Absolutely. But it's just, I think to say it's a mess in Boston right now is an understatement.
Yeah. And do you think they can clear it up? And will they make the playoffs this year? No. All right. Well, let's just stab the Boston fans in the heart right now. We
didn't have them in the playoffs in our previous show, and we thought they'd be better than this.
Correct.
So, no.
I'm not saying I disagree with you. Yeah. I was just asking the question, sir.
Okay, but I know you don't either, right?
No, I don't. Okay. I don't think they're going to rebound. I don't. None of this is good. Yeah. I tell you what may happen more than anything else. You may see a big fire sale in Boston before the end of the season.
And their fans would not like that.
No, but I think it would be sold to them as we're just cleaning house. I think this is the first step. I think if they fire all these guys and it doesn't work, because all they did was bring up their AAA manager to be their new manager. It's Chad Tracy, I believe.
Yeah.
It's so if this doesn't work, they're going to be like, okay, well, I guess then we got to get rid of all the players too. And then
I'll say this about their fans. So when I was in college, when they broke the curse, when they finally won, and in the dorm room, there was a couple Red Sox fans, and I'm telling you, we're always good. We always need to be one of the best teams in baseball every time, every year, period. Like this never should ever happen. That is the way Red Sox fans are. We are the Red Sox. They have that attitude. It's not like, no, I like both those guys. They weren't jerks or anything, but that's just how they feel. So this is not acceptable, not even close. No.
It will not be. No, you're 100% right.
Oh, yeah. Always have to finish ahead of the Yankees too. Always. Or it's a loss, or it's a bad season. Like that's the way they think. So
yeah, it's Ohio State, Michigan.
And I'm like, well, I'm a Braves and Cubs fan, so sometimes we're not very good.
So, it happens, right?
Yeah, but I think the Cubs were pretty bad back then, but don't remember exactly. But yeah.
All right, buddy. All right, so we're going to do our final baseball part of the segment here. It is Hitting Cleanup, brought to you by Forward Fan. Now, I know we checked on this last time. We looked at ticket prices, and what Forward Fan does, ladies and gentlemen, is it allows you to buy your World Series tickets right now for a great price. If you believe your team is going to go to the World Series, lock in your price right now and get them cheap. Last week, the Chicago Cubs, 2 weeks ago, the Chicago Cubs were $160 a ticket. They're creeping back up in the standings, and now they're at $225 a ticket. So get those tickets before they go absolutely crazy. If you're a Reds fan like myself, it's still only $55 to get those tickets for the World Series if you think that the Reds are going to go. And let's take a look at one more team. Let's go to, I don't know.
But the Red Sox. Maybe they turn around. It's probably cheap right now.
All right, let's look at the Red Sox. Let's do it. Red Sox pricing, $130 is all it is for a.
It might go down though. It might go down.
It might go down.
But the Reds are 2 games ahead of the Cubs. They're in first place. They're like 19-10, $55.
$55. That's it.
Their pitching's been amazing. That's absolute steal if they make the World Series. That would be crazy.
Absolutely. And we have partnering with them now. They did a thing with us a couple of weeks ago. We did it, and we said, let's see if it works. Let's see if our fans respond. And you guys did. So now Forward Fan and All Gloves Off Sports Media has our own code now where we can save you 10% more off of whatever you want to buy from forwardfan.com. Go get your tickets. Type in the code AGO10, All Gloves Off 10, and you will get 10% more off of whatever you want to buy right now.
Yeah, the Braves might want. If you're a Braves fan, you might want to buy it soon because they're winning right now and they won again today. So might want to go ahead and get those tickets.
Might want to get those. Did we say what the Braves pricing was? I don't think we did, but I can tell you real quick. I've got it right here. $255 a ticket for the Braves. So
still get them now because it's going to get way more expensive.
I'm sure it will. I mean, we know through the research that we have done, $2,500 or so was roughly the price for a World Series ticket. So even if you only paid $255 right now, still a heck of a deal. So all right, we are going to do
$2,500. Just think how many minor league, like AA games you could go to. That's why you got to buy. That's why you got to buy it now. That's why you have to buy these tickets now because it's going to get insane.
Buy them right now. So we're going to do a kind of a rapid fire thing at the end so that we get all of our Major League Baseball stuff off our chest. And that's why we call it hitting cleanup, because we're basically cleaning up the rest of what we got going on. So that means we got to do music again, right? All right, Cheese, here we go. We got a few things we're going to kind of rapid fire on and get with everything. You said last week, if the Reds start hitting, look out. Well, let me give you some stats. In the last 7 days, TJ Friedl, 333. Matt McClain, 269. Ellie De La Cruz, 320. Sal Stewart, 333. Spencer Steer, 250. Even Ke'Bryan Hayes is in on the act, 278. And Nathaniel Lowe is 294. Do you really think the Reds can pull this off if they keep hitting like this?
Yeah, I do. If they do. Ellie De La Cruz is the one. Sal Stewart, obviously, I mean, he was a top 10 prospect. So, I mean, it's a mild surprise he's doing this good this quickly. But Ellie De La Cruz was the guy, has all the tools, was kind of banged up in the second half last year. I believe he had an injury. You probably remember what it was.
Lower leg injury.
Lower leg. So he was the guy that was like, okay, we need him to step up and have a breakout year. So, he's got so much talent. So, if they keep hitting like this, if Ke'Bryan Hayes gives you anything with the bat,
right,
it's great. But, they keep hitting like this, they're in great shape. And like I said, they're 2 games ahead of the Cubs right now in the Central.
All right, so I want to put her picture up here because, the old man's getting to where he's doing the technology stuff again. So let's do it. This lady right here for the UCLA Bruins has the following stat line, and I know it's college softball, but I wanted to get to it because look at this. So according to Sydney_Supple on X, that's at Sydney_Supple, SUPPLE, this lady is Jordan Woolery, and she is on track to be the first player ever in NCAA Division I history with a batting average of, you ready, 500 plus, with 30 plus home runs and 100 plus RBIs. She is currently batting .510 with 31 home runs and 102 RBIs. So as long as she keeps that average above 500, she's gonna do it. The closest person to ever do this was in 1995. Arizona's Laura Espinoza had 37 home runs, 128 RBIs, but only a .437 batting average. So I wanted to give it up to what is her? Jordan Woolery right now. And she says, okay, good. All right.
I had never watched women's softball in my life. So
good for her. I know.
Good for her.
Right. It's a heck of a stat line, though. So I wanted to make sure we got to it here.
Okay.
Third thing, we're going to do 4. So here's the third. So far in Major League Baseball, there have been 7 starts where a pitcher has thrown 8 or more scoreless innings. And Boston's Ranger Suarez has 2 of the 7. And they are currently 12-17.
Yeah, he was their big free agent pickup. So it sounds like he's done well, but the rest of the team hasn't. But that's crazy. So 8 or more scoreless innings has been done 7 times.
Yes, already this season. Yes.
Okay. I bet Sandy Alcantara's got 1 or 2. Yeah.
Possibly. I don't know the rest of them besides just the 2 that Ranger Suarez had. Lastly, here in our again, this is our hitting cleanup brought to you by ForwardFan.com. You can go over to ForwardFan.com, use the code AGO10 and get 10% off of your tickets that you buy right now. Lock in that price. Go to ForwardFan.com and get those tickets today. Jack Simonetti, is that what you think it is? Okay.
Simonetti.
So he was a hitting coach in the Florida Complex League 2 years ago. And now all of a sudden he's joining the Boston Red Sox. He served as Salem's, I don't even know what Salem is. He served as Salem's assistant hitting coach in 2025, and he was a video associate for the Woo Sox, which is their AAA team, in 2023. Jeez, is this kid all of a sudden that good, or is this kid just someone you think the front office can control with the mess going on in Boston?
So, video associate, a lot of times that's some kind of analytical hitting coach. Like they use computers and science or whatever, a database to figure out hitting. It's probably just something they're taking a chance on. Usually those guys are behind the scenes. They're not actual hitting coaches. But I don't know. It's it's crazy. It's crazy.
We're just talking about Boston, how nuts it is there, and then now they're promoting this kid. Now, I don't know the kid. I've never met him or anything like that before. He might be a great guy. But it just seems weird to me that they're promoting a guy with this least amount of experience to the big league club. It just caught me as strange. So I wanted to bring it up one more time before we go to something else.
That kind of resume usually does not get this kind of role. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. All right. Let's make sure that we've got it. Yes, we do. Everything is in place. So for the first time in a long time, Cheese.
Yes.
It's been a few weeks. We did the 5 Flamin' 5 in the beginning. That was all NFL. We're going to do our lights out list at the end, which is going to be the 10 teams from 10 to 1 that had the best draft in the NFL. That's a plane going overhead, if you're wondering what that noise is in the background. And then...
Hope they don't drop a bomb.
I hope not. Thanks for putting that crazy thought in my head. I appreciate it.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So in between there, we're going to do some college football. We got 2 things to talk about, big things to talk about, and I want to get into it. I don't know, maybe about right now. I miss that music. I like that music a lot. All right, so Cheese is just like, I'm phased over here. Like, yeah.
I'm trying to figure out who the first baseman is for the Padres. Todd France, maybe? The ball went right between his legs.
Yeah, Ty France.
Ty France went right between his legs. Would have ended the inning. We'll see what happens.
Anyway. You were mesmerized by the error. All right, got it.
It was terrible.
All right, Cheese. Brendan, I think Brendan actually. Brendan Sorsby has made plenty of news this week.
Wow.
And it's not been good news if you haven't heard. I'm sure you've heard at least part of it. So he filed a motion to dismiss the Cincinnati Bearcats lawsuit for $1 million against him for breach of contract when he transferred from Cincinnati to Texas Tech. So, Cheese, my question to you here is, do you see more players and more clubs? Do you see more clubs or teams suing players who go into this transfer portal for the same kind of thing?
If I'm the university, I sue every single person in breach of contract, every single one. Because if you don't, they're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep lying, and they're going to, okay, you give me the 4 years, $8 million. Okay, I'll be a Bearcat for life. 6 months later, I'm out the door because Texas Tech's offered me $3 million. You offered me $2 million. So Yeah, absolutely. There needs to be a penalty, or you have to pay all the money back they give you. I would. There's got to be something. There's got to be more rules and regulations. There's got to be penalty. There's got to be something. Something, because this is just it's a total mess. John Calipari said it best. Like, guys, 5 teams in 5 years. You're probably not going to graduate. You're just going where the next money is. It's no loyalty. It's not good for a program. You're turning your whole roster over. Iowa State lost like almost their entire roster. It's because they lost their coach to Penn State. It's terrible.
Yeah,
I would. Would you? If you're the university, would you sue?
Yes. So I would sue them. I would sue them for everything that I could. I want to dive into this a lot. So let me give you this stat, Cheese. Of the 2026 NFL draft players that were picked, how much of a percentage? What percentage do you think of them transferred at least one time in their college career?
Of the 200, all the players drafted, 257.
Yes.
So I'll say this: I don't watch film of so many for 2 different schools. I wanted to go back and watch them like the year before, like Chris McClellan. The Packers just drafted him. I watched some of his Florida tape. He was a Missouri Tiger. So many, God, 170.
Well, it's a percentage. So 48%.
48. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Almost half of them.
The price is not higher. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to get higher. It's going to be higher.
Get higher, 100%.
Yeah.
And here's the second thing that I don't like about this. Let's look at this quarterback's just look at Sorsby himself, right? So he was with the University of Cincinnati, I believe, 2 years, and then now he's going to go to Texas Tech, right? Well, Cincinnati has spent all the money training him, showing him what his diet should be, getting him everything he needs to get so that he can be a really good quarterback in college football. And then he says, well, you know what? Piss on you. I'm going to Texas Tech. That's probably the part that gets me more than anything is these smaller schools are just simply raising people so that the big schools can swoop in and pay him more money and be better.
Did you know that he is likely entering the supplemental draft because he's probably ineligible for the gambling probe?
Yeah, we'll get to this gambling stuff here in a moment. But yes, he's, like I said, he has done a lot of stuff this week that he is, it's crazy. But you're saying he has to enter the supplemental draft.
So it looks like he's not going to be able to play at Texas Tech because of this gambling issue. You might know more about it than me. I saw it on X. I saw actually you. I think you were the one who reposted it. I saw. Mm-hmm. And then I saw that he is going to enter the supplemental draft, which is a draft is June or July for players that don't make themselves eligible for the normal draft that we just had, or some of them are kicked out of school, or NCAA might rule ineligible or something. So they had that supplemental draft, which I think it's been years since someone was drafted there. But so he's going to enter that. I'll say right now as a prospect, I don't think he'd be drafted anyway, so he's not going to be picked, in my opinion. So if he was in this draft, he'd probably be a 7th rounder or probably priority free agent. He wouldn't have been in my top 10 quarterbacks probably anyway. And I don't even know if 10 quarterbacks were drafted. So with all this gambling stuff, and he apparently has a gambling addiction, I don't think he'll be picked anyway.
Yeah, we'll talk about the gambling. It's an addiction. Well, I've got some specifics on it. So what he did was crazy. So yeah, we'll get to that here in just a second. Here, let me cough real.
Well, Mike's coughing.
There we go. Yeah.
Did you guys all know, everyone watching, that Keldrick Falk, first round pick of the Titans, he's a really good run defending edge. He's so good at defending the run. I don't know if anyone knew that, but he's amazing at that. And so that's what you want out of your pass rusher. Defending.
All of a sudden, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I was pretty sure that we had Mr. First Down on the show for today. And then all of a sudden, he's like, nope, I got to get up early for work tomorrow. I think it's because Cheese won't lay off of this. Who is it again?
He sent me a message. He sent me a message on X like, I'm watching you, Cheese. Yeah, Keldrick Falk. He's great run defending edge. No, like when he might love Kendrick Falk. I want to get his take on the Titans draft. I like some of their picks, some of them not so much. I did not like that one, so I was hoping to have him on. Hopefully, we can get him on soon because I do want to talk Titans draft with him. He was at the draft, but I like the debate. The draft. You never know for sure in 3 or 4 years, but my job is to evaluate it, and then I do it. And I have Bears troll lose their minds on the channel. Everything the Bears did was great, by the way. Every pick they made was perfect and great. And he was trying to argue I liked some of their picks and I didn't like the others. And he had a freak out. It's like, okay, agree to disagree, but no, it's a Bears troll. It's a Bears fan. So apparently Ryan Poles, every pick he makes is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, so here's the thing. So I'm reading up a little bit while you were talking there. So he was actually Brandon was actually the second highest rated player in the transfer portal this year. Last year, we threw for 2,800 yards, 27 touchdowns, 5 interceptions with the Cincinnati Bearcats. There is a proposal going on about can these guys bet, can they not bet? But no matter how they do any of that, the NCAA has already ruled that if a player bets on their own games or on games within their own athletic department, they will be subject to permanent loss of eligibility. So
good.
He is being investigated right now. They're not 100% sure what exactly he did. I can tell you a few things that I've kind of gathered up through X and through a couple of the sources that I have. I used to live in Cincinnati, so I'm not trying to say I'm some big source guy, but I have a couple people. So again, he filed a motion so that he could dismiss that $1 million lawsuit against him. I don't think it's going to work, but he's filed the motion in order to try. He also attended Cincinnati Reds games on repeated occasions, and he didn't just place bets on the games. He would sit with his phone in the stands and place live wagers on the balls and strikes of the game. The bets ranged anywhere from $2.50 to $1 per pitch.
While you're doing that, I looked up. So there's a guy online that says he thought Brandon Sorsby would have been the 5th best quarterback in this year's draft. Interesting. So, okay. I'd have to watch more tape of him. I didn't think he was that good, but 5th would have put him middle around. Of course, he had Nussmeier ahead of him, but Nussmeier fell to the 7th round because of an injury concern. But still, the 4th quarterback taken was Drew Aller in the middle of the 3rd round. Cade Klubnik, 4th round was the 5th quarterback taken. So,
drafted.
He has a chance to be drafted in a supplemental draft. Okay,
right. So drafted, yes. Drafted high, no.
No.
Okay,
no.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So now he's now the Texas Tech quarterback. He's taken a leave of absence from the football program to get his gambling addiction under control. So the school announced that earlier today, actually, or it could have been yesterday, one of those two. So I don't want to dive into this too much because I want to kind of not just save this one, but we're at an hour and a half and we're going to try to keep this in under 2 hours. So I don't want to dive deep into this, and we still got our top 10 and stuff yet to go, plus the Ty Simpson stuff. But I think, just in a generalized statement, these athletic programs and these teams that are jumping into bed with gambling is going to ruin our sports.
Yeah, legalized gambling, it was good in the United States. It was good for one reason only. The illegal gambling trade is gone, right? But other than that, it's not good. I don't bet. I'm sure you don't either.
No, I don't.
I just wonder, the therapy thing, gambling addiction, okay. Very possible that's the problem. But sometimes when people in public are caught, they just, I need therapy. I have an addiction. Tiger Woods cheating on his wife. I have a sex addiction. Okay, sure. Mike Vrabel's caught with Diana Rossini. He's like, I need therapy. Like, you don't need therapy. Just stop running around with Diana Rossini on your wife. You don't need that. That's what everyone does. It's like, it's what they're told to do. Oh, you have gambling addiction. Well, he might. Don't get me wrong. He might. Or it could just be he was caught and busted, and this is me to save face because I want to play in the NFL. This is my addiction. This is my issue. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's just like every time somebody has it, it's like, oh, I need therapy, or maybe not.
Right. Maybe just not make the bad decision. Right.
Yeah, I don't know, but
and in his case, it seems like he's made it over and over and over again because he bet on pitches, for God's sake.
I mean, if you bet on pitches and you spend $1.250 on a bet, maybe you do have an addiction. Because why would you do that?
Yeah,
you don't win. I mean, you're constantly just betting. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we've actually been approached 2 or 3 times by betting places wanting to sponsor this show, and I've not let it happen yet. So I just don't like the two worlds mixing personally. And I think this is one of those cases, you're going to mess up a kid for the rest of his life because he can't not gamble. I mean, this could destroy this whole kid's life just because he has an addiction to gambling.
I'll tell you a quick story. I got a friend who likes to bet prop bets.
Okay.
Right? NFL prop bets.
Mm-hmm.
And you can look at tendencies. You can go online. There are people do videos about it. And, you can make some money doing it. But he bet 21 prop bets in the first few weeks of the season and got 17 correct. So he's making money. But what happens is when most people that bet and gamble for whatever you're gambling on, you make money at first. You play the odds, you're smart, you're like, okay, you're careful. What happened was he lost 9 straight after that because what happened was Vegas adjusted. So prop bets on the season, okay, plus over 37 rushing yards. Mm-hmm. Well, now they know the running back's good. He's getting more, so they're going to move it up to 50 or 60. And you keep betting the over, you're going to start losing. So he got 17 or 21 right, and then missed 9 straight after that because of the adjustment. So this tells you it doesn't matter like how good you start, how good the tendencies are. Eventually, it's called like regression to the mean. You know what I mean? So betting, even if you're good at it, you're eventually going to lose.
Yeah, personally, where I'm at, I live about 5 hours of a drive from Vegas. We've been there 2 or 3 times, myself and my wife. And whatever money we take to Vegas, we just expect that we're going to lose. It's fun money. It's a fun weekend. You go and you gamble, and if you win, great. And I don't expect to win any of that money that I take with me, because when you look around and you look at Vegas, they didn't build that city with a bunch of give it a bunch of money away to people like you and I when we go and play the slots and stuff, right? They beat a lot of people, and they're really good at it, or Vegas wouldn't look like it does.
I've never been to Vegas. I do want to go, but I wouldn't even gamble. I don't even like play. I wouldn't even know what I'm doing, so I wouldn't even gamble. I'd go for the shows, and maybe in 2028 we can meet up. If you have a 5-hour drive, because in 2028 the A's will be there. Maybe we can go see A's Reds or A's Braves or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've got a great AAA ballpark in Vegas right now. I keep saying I want to go to it, but we'll talk more about that off the air. I'd love to go to Vegas. I'm not a big gambler either. I don't want to trash Vegas right now.
I wouldn't even do slots because I don't really know how to gamble. I don't even know what craps. I know it's dice. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I just never have played anything like that. So I would just go to the shows and just enjoy the other stuff at Vegas. There's plenty of other stuff to do. And I would want to go maybe to a Raiders game, maybe to the A's game. That's what I do. I wouldn't even go in the casinos, to be honest with you, because I lose money. Why would I?
The Vegas Golden Knights play there. I mean, there's so many sport things that, I know that you might, you'd be like, but there's the secondary football team. I'm trying to remember, Hendersonville Knights or something like that. It's right down from Vegas. I mean, the Golden Knights play there as far as hockey goes, and there's all kinds of stuff to do besides gambling. So, you got me all intrigued now. We're gonna have to talk about this off the air and make something.
I know they got some great shows there. Like, I'd like to go to the shows. I like magic. Like, I'm sure they got a lot of magicians and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, David Copperfield's there on a regular basis. So.
Yeah, he's okay.
Okay. All right. Whatever. Sorry, I mentioned somebody that you don't like. I apologize, sir. All right. So the last topic we're going to do before we get into our truth. Oh, here we go, way back in machine, like it's the sports truth again on here. Oh man, can't believe I just did that. I did it the other day on the sports pulpit too, and I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so the last thing we're going to do here on the Lights Out Sports Podcast is this, because I need to talk Ty Simpson, and we're going to dive into this big, ladies and gentlemen. So we haven't had a lot of comments tonight. You guys are on with us. There's a ton of people with us right now. Just simply type in your comment. Let's talk about Ty Simpson. Everybody. Cheese, is Ty Simpson worth a first-round pick, or even is he worth a first-round pick, first of all? And would you possibly do a late first-round pick for him, considering that would give you the fifth-year option on him as a quarterback?
You know, when the Rams had the 29th pick, too, they traded for Trent McDuffie. That was the rumored landing spot. And then when they traded that, then they're like, oh, yeah, he could fall in the draft. I would have liked it a lot better at 29 and 13, but no, I don't think he's worth a first-round pick. I don't think he handles pressure well. I don't like he's only started 1 year. Almost no quarterback ever has worked out with only 1 year experience. The ones that have are like Mitch Trubisky, Mark Sanchez type of players, Anthony Richardson. I mean, just the track record is terrible. Obviously, rules may be broken. There might eventually be someone. His ball placement in some games is not good. He doesn't put the ball where a receiver can get it. When the pocket's clean and he's got zero pressure, his receivers get open, then he's great. He's fine. He looks super accurate. But, you know, that's just not going to happen all the time in the NFL. So I thought he was a third rounder, you know, below average starter, but good backup. That's the valuation I had. So much would have to go right for him to be a good starting quarterback. And it's even if he's not a finished product, he's a mess like him, only 1 year starter. If you're going to use a first round pick, he needs to have a cannon arm or super athletic. He needs to have like Michael Vick or Lamar Jackson's athleticism, or have a Josh Allen type arm. He needs to have some big, loud traits, you know, to like a higher ceiling. He just doesn't have a high ceiling to me. So I don't understand it. I think it was one of the worst picks of the draft. I think it's going to be a disaster. And you could have had Kenyon Sadiq. The Rams were so close to Super Bowl and they would have won it. They lost by 4 points in that game. You could have had Kenyon Sadiq with that pick. You could have had Ioane. You could have upgraded guard. There's so many players that were still there that could have helped you right away. I think it was one of the dumbest moves I've ever seen. And Sean McVay looked really annoyed by the pick.
I don't think I muted the microphone fast enough. Yeah.
It's okay.
He looked,
I always stop right as you're about to cough.
I do. I don't know how we timed that so well. I mean, I guess we know each other that well.
I'm not doing it on purpose, man.
That's okay. You're good, man. You're good.
What do you think about Tyson? What do you think? Do you think it as harsh as me? Do you like it better than me? Worse? What do you think? Because I haven't heard your take on it.
I think you'll know my opinion as we keep going. I put something in the private chat for you to read real quick. So read that while I'm talking about this here.
Okay.
You're right. Sean McVay looked really upset when he did that media availability after round one of the draft. Do you think he looked upset because he didn't want the pick? I mean, was that Sean McVay conveying to everybody else, man, I had nothing to do with this. This was all the front office. Don't look at me. Do you think maybe he was trying to protect Matthew Stafford? And we're going to talk more about that as we continue to dive deeper and deeper into this topic.
You know, whenever they do something like this, they always try to spin it in a way. I know Aaron Rodgers pissed when the Packers drafted Jordan Love. I don't know. Staff, they're like, oh, we told them everything. It's possible they're lying. They didn't tell him. They told him after. Probably told him. I don't necessarily think they're lying, but clearly, and Sean McVay's acting like, no, it's fine, but you could tell he was annoyed. He did not want to go out and talk to me about it. He did not want that pick to be made. He probably knew it was coming, but he was annoyed. He could not hide it. He did not want that. Sean McVay, there's been rumors for a couple of years he might retire soon. I think he wants one more Super Bowl, and this is his chance to get it. And he's annoyed because if he wins one more Super Bowl, he's a guaranteed Hall of Famer. He'll retire. He'll go to TV. I think he'll be great on TV. I think that's what he wants to do. He wants to do the Tony Dungy. He wants to do the Bill Cowher. Go out on top, retire. You're going to be a Hall of Famer. Won a Super Bowl. Boom. And he'll been to 3. He's been to 2. So if they go to the Super Bowl and win it, he'll have been to 2, won 3, Hall of Famer. So he was clearly annoyed. And I'm sure a lot of the veteran players, not just Stafford, are annoyed. You know, they have 2 good receivers, nothing after that. Absolutely nothing. Right tackle, huge issue. They could have drafted a Blake Miller who went 3 picks later. They could have drafted Monroe Freeling. They could have. There were 10 guys, like Mekhi Lemon. There were 10 guys they could have drafted that would have been worth that pick, at least 7 or 8, that would have made sense. Instead, they took a player who's not going to play for several years, and maybe if everything goes right, he could work out. And anyone comparing him to Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, he does not have their physical tools. He is not the prospect Aaron Rodgers was. He's not the prospect Jordan Love was. He is not as good as those guys coming out as a prospect. This is a major reach. I just think let's just stop because I could just keep going off. I think it's such a bad pick, and it's if the Arizona Cardinals had moved back from 3-13 and done this, it would have made so much more sense because they need a quarterback. The Rams are right there, one of the best rosters in the league. They had a chance to get an impact player and blew it.
Well, don't tell me not to keep going because we are. This is just question 2 of 4. Just wait. We're going to get further and further and further down this road, buddy. Your head's going to explode for this time. So I think Sean McVay was put in a bad spot here. He wants to be happy because he just got what may possibly be Stafford's replacement. But he also doesn't want to be giddy about it and act like he's pushing Stafford out the door. The guy who just won the MVP, for God's sake. So I understand it, but you put your coach in a really bad spot there. And I wonder if that's why he looks so mad, because he didn't really know what to do. If I look like I love Ty Simpson, then Matthew Stafford's going to call me in the office and be like, hey, what the heck was that? Or, if I say something like, oh, Matthew's still our quarterback and, Ty will be along soon. And then Ty Simpson's going to come in and be like, really? You just drafted me in the first round of the draft and you're already kind of like putting me behind the 8 ball. He was screwed no matter which way he went, in my opinion.
That's a really good point. I hadn't thought of that. But I'll say this, Matt LaFleur was very happy about Jordan Love. He wanted Jordan Love. That's his guy. So he didn't try to spin it at all, but Matt LaFleur is an idiot. So,
we'll see.
But no, that's very possible that he didn't know what to do and he didn't want to act happy. And so he tried to be passive aggressive and it came off looking, it made it worse for the whole situation because all of a sudden everybody's talking about it. Everybody noticed. Video went viral on X.
Yeah. It took like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's bad. You can tell he was definitely not wanting to talk to media about it at all. Mm-hmm. But he's the head coach, so you have to.
Right. So let's kind of circle the wagons, and we talked about this in our MLB segment earlier. I'm going to talk about it here in this college football segment here as well when we're talking about Ty Simpson. So according to multiple reports, Cheese, Stafford was told. You mentioned this earlier. He was told earlier that they were going to pick Simpson. So if the team comes to you and is going to pick your replacement, yet they tell you ahead of time, does that make it all right? No, not really. Stafford, I'm sure look, players, they act like, oh, I don't pay attention to media or social media or whatever. They do. The rumor was Mekhi Lemon was probably their guy. He's thinking I'm getting another receiver. I could get another weapon. I could get another offensive lineman to protect me. Mm-hmm. So, it doesn't make it right. It's better. You don't want to blindside him. Apparently, they told Aaron Rodgers right after or during when they're about to pick him. See, the Jordan Love thing is different. The Packers really were high. If you believe the rumor, I don't. This isn't guaranteed, but from what I've read, they were high on Justin Jefferson. Okay. Wide receiver coming to LSU. Mm-hmm. And they were picking 30 in the draft. He went 22nd. To move from 30 into the top 20, because Philadelphia was another one. They were picking 21. They needed a receiver. Took a TCU receiver. It was a total bust. But you pretty much had to get in the top 20. To go from 30 to 20, even a third-round pick's not enough. So that's a lot of draft capital. Green Bay doesn't like giving up a lot of draft capital. So that's a lot to move up. I think if he had fallen to 20,
They moved up to 26 to get Love. If he'd fallen to 24, 25, fine. They probably would have moved up for Justin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
And Rodgers would have been happy. Maybe they went into their Super Bowl. Justin Jefferson is one of the best receivers in the NFL, drafted by Minnesota, but he didn't fall that far. So they had to pivot. And the rumor was the Colts really liked Jordan Love, and they moved up from 30 to 26, only give up a fourth rounder to get Jordan Love. So they weren't planning on taking Love. It just so happened, well, none of these guys that we liked are left. Let's take our future quarterback. So if the Rams knew ahead of time, like all along they were taking him, first of all, that's terrible drafting. Yeah, terrible processing. You don't just decide months ago, I'm going to take this guy if he's there at 13. You have to go through a whole evaluation. There might be a prospect. What if, Arvell Reese was there at 13? You're going to pass on him for Ty Simpson? Like, you don't know who's going to be there. You never know with the draft. Who thought Caleb Downs would be there at 11? Like, you can't just, we're taking you if you're there. Doesn't make any sense. It's so dumb. And what's crazy is the Rams have been one of the most well-run organizations over the last 6 or 7 years in the NFL. They have been. As far as drafting, free agency, trades, they really have done a great job. And this is mind-boggling how stupid this was.
Okay. So just wait. Your head is going to explode. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned, because I don't think he's read the notes yet. It's just wait. Just wait.
I have not read them.
Okay. I can pretty much tell. So just hang on. In fact, don't read them now. You may as well not. So wait till we get to the last question. So we talked earlier about Trevor Story and Trevor Story saying, hey, they didn't give us a very good explanation. Almost like Trevor Story wants to be part of the front office. He wants to know some of the decisions that are made. What about a guy like Matthew Stafford in the NFL? Does he deserve to be in the war room while they're making drafts? Does he deserve to hey man, we're looking at doing this, or we're looking at doing that. And I know you've been here for a long time. You're our MVP. You're the face of our franchise. Let's ask Matthew Stafford. Should teams do that with a guy the caliber of Matthew Stafford?
No, you got to keep it separate. I get it. If he wanted to be involved, here's what I would do. You have to keep it separate. If you have him in the building there, he might just go to the coaches like, hey, what's going on this? Let's you get this guy. Like every quarterback that watches college football, say Stafford's a big college football fan, he's watching college football. He might have this favorite receiver, right? But that guy might not project well in the NFL. The front office might not like that guy at all. But he's like, look at this play. Look at this, this guy could be awesome. Or he might love Zachariah Branch because he went to Georgia and Zachariah Branch goes to Georgia. Let's draft that Georgia guy. So, there's some bias. I don't like that. But here's what I would do if he wants to be involved, okay? Mm-hmm. If I want to look at the receivers. I want to be involved in the process. I would take 5 or 6, maybe 7 or 8 wide receivers, maybe day 2, possibilities. Say maybe we'll take a receiver day 2. I give him all the film we have on them and say, look at these 7, 8 guys. Which of these guys do you like the best? Which one do you think fits your skill set the best? I would try to make him more of a scout, not saying, look at the highlights when you watch a college game, because that's not what you do. Like if you just watch the highlights in a college game, you won't draft well. Because it's more about that. It's projecting to the NFL. Try to make him a scout and say, look at what this guy does. What kind of receiver fits with you, fits with us? What do you think? And then let him come back to me and tell me. It's probably not going to change my decision, but at least they feel involved. At least they feel like, okay, he listened to me. And then when you don't draft, say they disagree and he doesn't draft the player I wanted, say, we just like this other guy better. That's it. That's all I have to say. We just like this guy better.
Okay. I like how you kind of I said middle ground earlier. We were talking about baseball, and I gave you my middle ground. You're more the football guy. I'm more the baseball guy. So I like where you went on your middle ground, just kind of like I went on my middle ground. Do you think that because, this was the same thing in Green Bay? You said it was a little different. I kind of get it where you're coming from as far as Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay, but when you boil it all down, Rodgers wanted another weapon, and he didn't get that. And Green Bay saw a chance to get his replacement.
Yes.
Do you think So if they would have gotten a cornerback instead of his replacement, do you think Rodgers would have been as mad? And I want to shift this back to Stafford right now. They got Stafford's replacement. Wouldn't that upset you when you're in the prime of your career and they get a replacement for you?
Well, Stafford he had a back issue going into the season. It wasn't a problem. I think he's hinted at retirement. I think he wants to win one more Super Bowl. He's won one. I think same thing with McVay. They want to win one more. He's probably, I don't think 2 more years at most is my guess. So he knows is at the end. The Packers situation, they got to a situation. They wanted to get a weapon. They were not planning on drafting Jordan Love. They did a lot of work on him. They met with him at the combine. Don't get me wrong. They did a lot of work on him. But they saw this as there's no one left that we have a higher grade on. There's no one left we have a first-round grade on except for Jordan Love. So we could reach for a need for a corner, a linebacker. There was no receiver worth that pick. We could reach for that, or we could take this guy that we really like that fell because he, wasn't as good as junior year as he was his sophomore. At Utah State, he lost like all his receivers and running backs. Like they all left. They were all seniors. They went to the NFL draft or they were gone. So, and he ended up, not having as much talent around him, forced it. He threw way too many picks. And so he wasn't as good. Otherwise, he was projected to be like a top 10, top 5 pick maybe going into the year. And yes, and he regressed. So they're thinking this is the best situation for us. They were not counting on doing this. Sounds like the Rams were counting on doing this. This was the plan all along.
Here we go. Your head's about to explode.
Okay, go ahead. What do you got?
All right. So Rams general manager Les Snead knows and has had a long relationship with a guy named Jason Simpson, Ty Simpson's father.
He's the head coach of UT Martin. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So there may have been some secret meetings. I was reading a bunch of stuff. And so here's what they're saying. They're saying that Jason went to Les and said, hey, when should our son come out? How should he do it?
I heard that. Yeah.
Yes. And
Tom Pelissero reported that. Yeah.
Yeah. So was there some backstage stuff going on? Was this the plan all along? Was this Les Snead saying, hey, Jason, I like you. I like your son. He's a good kid. We're going to go ahead and draft him in the first round. I appreciate the friendship and things that we have. And if that's true, how is this going to affect the relationship between the Rams brass, who you just said, and it's a proven fact. They've ran this team really well over the last few years. How is that relationship going to go between the front office and McVay and the players and Simpson? What's going to happen when Simpson walks into that room?
There is no way that everybody was on board. In fact, I'm sure even the front office was split. Obviously, the coaches, a lot of them are probably split. A lot of players are probably not happy. There's going to be people in the organization that are not happy at all with this move. Players want to win now. It's not just Stafford. There's other veterans that want to win next year. They want to win Super Bowl. There are people on the Rams won, was it 4 or 5 years ago? They won the Super Bowl. But they have not won since. And most of the players on the team have not won a Super Bowl. They want to win. Puka Nacua has not won a Super Bowl. He wasn't on the team then, Davante Adams has never won a Super Bowl. He wants to win. He's like 32, 33 years old. He wants to win. So, this could cause a big rift, across the whole organization. But Les Snead, he's in charge of personnel. He made the decision. And the last point I want to make about what you just said, and you do not pick you do not decide who you're drafting in December for April. You do not. I don't care if you're the Raiders and you're probably taking Mendoza. You still don't decide it then. You still have to do the process. You still have to look into him. You have to look, the player. You have to bring him in for a physical, bring him in your building. I mean, Mendoza might be an outlier because what a cool dude he is. But it's even so, you don't decide in December who you're drafting. If this is true, December, January, whenever he met, during the college football playoffs, what Tom Pelissari reported, that was January? You don't decide then who you're drafting. That's terrible processing. That makes no sense. And I don't know if there was a promise made. Hey, if you come out, we'll draft you.
Yeah.
And then
it's kind of what it seems like.
Because did you see that he was offered $5 million by Miami? Miami lost Carson Beck. Yes. He should have taken it. Get another year experience.
Absolutely.
The last two Miami quarterbacks, one was the first overall pick. The other got drafted with 65th overall, which I think was a major reach. But, we can talk about that another time. But they both had really successful statistical seasons. It worked out. So that must be what happened, because – and then you can't go back on it if he comes out, and then you're stuck. And then all these people in the building are like, no, we can't take Ty Simpson. Kenyon Sadiq's on the board. Come on. But if you've already promised him, can you imagine if they promise him we'll take you, they change their mind, and he falls to the fourth round? In terms of
that relationship anymore. Yeah.
What?
I said you don't have that relationship anymore.
This is a mess.
It is. It really is a mess.
The 11, 12, 13 picks were just – it made it fun, made it entertaining. The 11, 12, 13 picks, Caleb Downs, Caden Proctor, and then Ty Simpson. If you guys want to know more about those three picks and what I thought of them, go to my channel. On Friday, I recorded a video reacting to every pick of the first round. I absolutely went off on the Dolphins for trading down, not just taking Caleb Downs. I think they're going to regret that. I think it's one of the dumbest moves by a terribly run organization. And then I actually was calm when I talked about Ty Simpson. I didn't go off because all my grumpiness, anger got out of me when they passed on, get traded down, and didn't take Caleb Downs. So I was calm with Ty Simpson, but it's still awful.
I saw you sipped your coffee, and then you did your Zen moment, and then you So
I absolutely did. I think the Dolphins made one of the dumbest moves in draft history. But anyway.
All right. So last thing right here.
Yes.
If the Rams go to the Super Bowl and lose because they didn't have another offensive weapon, what are people going to say about this pick?
If they lose by 4 points again, a one-score game, what do you think? I mean, they're going to go back to this. If they don't win the Super Bowl, unless they just have a disastrous year, if they go far and they don't make it, lose a close game in the playoffs, no matter where it is in the playoffs, everyone's going to go back to this spot. Everybody. Absolutely.
But what if 3 years from now, Ty Simpson leads them to the Super Bowl? Then what?
Well, then it was a great pick. There are a lot of Packer fans that hated the Jordan Love pick. I actually liked it. I remember going to work the next day and I said, he's got tools to be Patrick Mahomes 2.0. And everyone was just like, oh, you idiot. Oh, you're crazy. I mean, I was like, well, dude, this guy's got talent. He's got an arm. He's got all the tools. He's just like Patrick Mahomes coming out. He had the tools, but everyone's like, oh, I don't know. He's got his things to work on. So I got trashed for that, but I was like, I like the pick. If he leads them to the Super Bowl, then it's a great pick. The Packer fans are very happy for the Jordan Love pick. Would the Packers have won that Super Bowl the next year where they lost the NFC title game to Tampa if they got Justin Jefferson? I don't know. We'll never know. It's an unknown. The Rams better win the Super Bowl. Their fans are going to be pissed. If they do not win the Super Bowl this year, the fans are going to be pissed. And I still remember one more point I want to make.
Mm-hmm.
When toward the end of Ben Roethlisberger's career, they used a third-round pick, not first, not second, third-round pick on Mason Rudolph, quarterback, Oklahoma State. And Roethlisberger was pissed. He was pissed about a third-round quarterback because he knew third-rounder we could maybe get a player that can help right away. I'm toward the end of my career. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And they were very good back then. He was pissed about a third-round pick. This is a first-round pick, 13th overall, with Mekhi Lemon, Kenyon Sadiq on the board.
Crazy. All right. So we are going to do now that Cheese is almost talked out, he had to get coffee or whatever is in his mug there.
This is water.
It's just water.
I don't drink coffee this late at night.
No. Will that make you not go to bed?
Yes, it would. It's called caffeine. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah, so I've heard of it, but I'm up all night, so I don't. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to get ready and go to work. So
Oh, that's right. That's right. You work nights.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me near as much as what it does you. So, all right, let's do this. We need to do our top 10 here, right?
Yeah, this should be a fun one.
Yes, it should. So let's get a little music in the background before we introduce it. All right.
So you can put stuff on the screen, right? So you shouldn't have told me that you can put stuff on the screen. I'm going to send you stuff all the time now.
Yeah. So send it to me by email, and then I can whip it right over. And I've learned how to do it that way. I was trying to do it through X, but anyway, learned how to do it through email. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Lights Out list. It is a top 10 list that Cheese and I put together. And this week, what we're going to do is the top 10 teams that had the best draft. Now, this is draft 1 through 7, right? Not just the first few picks?
Yeah, 1 through 7. Obviously, the higher the pick, the more value you put to it. If somebody nails 7-round picks like the Broncos did, their last 2 picks were amazing. They're still not going to be on this list because they didn't do good earlier in the draft. What I just emailed you is the consensus draft grade board. So 24 evaluators graded the draft, and it's consensus board. So I just sent you that if that will help you with this. But this guy named Renee Bugner does this every year. He's done it like 3 or 4 straight years. It's interesting to look at, but I completely disagree with some of this.
All right. Well, I don't know if it's good to look at or not. My eyes hurt. Look at all these colors and crap everywhere. Holy snot. Okay, this is something I'll look at later.
Like Chad Reuter, NFL.com grades, everyone got at least a B. Like, he loves every draft. And then there's some guy who gives like a bunch of D's to a bunch of teams. So it's just interesting to look at. But typically, it's pretty close to who's the best and worst drafts. Although I have two teams on my top 10 that weren't in the top 20. So I disagree with some of this.
Okay. Well, let's get this thing started. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go. I think you went first last time. Number 10 is the Seattle Seahawks. It's tough when you pick 32. Of course, it's not tough because you just won the Super Bowl. But I think they not only got they drafted well, they got good players. They filled needs. Jadarian Price, running back in the first round. Bud Clark, safety. They lost Kenneth Walker. Jadarian Price replaced him. They lost Kobe Bryant. Bud Clark replaced him. They drafted Julian Neal. Reek Woolen left as a free agent. All their free agents, they got replacements. Bo Stevens in the 5th round, that was a steal. They could upgrade right guard. So they drafted 4 defensive backs. They lost, I think, 3 in free agency. So I thought they got really good value and filled needs.
All right. I think our list is going to be a little different. We'll see. We'll see here. So I'm looking at this probably a little bit different than you are, especially with the first one.
Okay.
I snuck them in at number 10 because we say all the time, all right, you've got needs, you know what they are, did you fill them? And I think they did. So my number 10 team is the New Orleans Saints. They needed to get weapons for Tyler Shuck, and they did. Their first pick was Jordan Tyson. And then they got a tight end in the 3rd round, and then they got 2 more receivers as well. They got North Dakota State receiver Bryce Lance.
Great.
And then they went to LSU, and they got Baron Brown as well. So, you got a guard, you got a defensive tackle, so it's not like they ignored defense. But I like their draft. I think that's what they needed to do was get him some weapons. They did that, so I put them at number 10.
More on them later. Yes. My number 9 is the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they may have made one of the best picks ever. They gave up 2 late fifths to move up for Caleb Downs. I still don't understand how he was there. Just for that alone, they had to make the top 10. And I like Malachi Lawrence, Jashawn Barham, edge rushers. They needed more pass rush because they traded Micah Parsons, which was dumb, but very dumb. I didn't love their day 3 as much, but just for those their defense got a lot better. Christian Parker, the new defensive coordinator, has to be one of the winners of the draft. But just for the Caleb Downs pick, they had to make the top 10, right?
Yes, they'll make my top 10 as well, but
Sure.
they will be much later on my top 10. So, are you good there? Am I interrupting you? You
I know my buddy who's a Cowboys fan was just commenting he thinks they should have been higher.
Well, then he should continue to listen because they will be here in just a few moments. Somebody will put them much higher. All right, so I know the next team had 2 picks in the top 10. So it's, like you're saying, it's not hard to be on the list, or it is harder to be on the list if you're drafting way low, but that means you just won the Super Bowl. When you get Reese, Maui Noah, Hood, Fields, all these guys in the first part of the rounds, I like a lot of their picks. Not that it was real hard to do because, again, they need a lot. But if you're looking at what team got better by the draft they had, I had to put the New York Giants in this top 10 somewhere. I think there are some other teams that did better, so I put them down at number 9.
I didn't put them in my top 10.
Interesting.
I love the Reese and Colton Hood pick. I did not love a couple picks after that at all. Malachi Fields didn't separate at all. Maui Noah, I think the 17th best player on the board. He's going to play guard. He took a guard at 10, and Ioane was a better guard in my opinion. So look, I mean they got better on defense. Just overall, I mean they would have been like 12 or 13. I just couldn't put them there.
Okay.
My number 8. A consensus. I'm sure they're much higher. Oh yeah, consensus. They're number 3 draft grade consensus. But so my number 8 is Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jason Light. I just love how he drafts. I think of all the teams in the NFL, the closest I would be to a general manager is Jason Light for Tampa Bay. The way he drafts, he loves to draft in the first round. Productive player. He always drafts a guy that's maybe didn't have the most greatest traits, but guys that's really productive in college, which means less likely to bust. You got Reuben Bain Jr. this year, fell in his lap. Got Emeka Egbuka last year. Both picks were amazing. Josiah Trotter, Ted Hurst in the 3rd round. He went 84th. I had him 33rd. I think it's one of the best picks of the entire draft. And I like his day 3. Yeah, Tampa Bay, I think definitely got better, especially on defense.
So New Orleans was number 10 for me. The Giants were number 9. And now we're going to look at number 8. I can't say a whole lot about this team because you basically just did it. My 8 team is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
I, like you, Reuben Bain fell in their lap. And I love the Trotter pick. I even like the offensive guard from Notre Dame. I think he has a chance to be maybe not a starter, but at least a rotational piece for them. And when you get
good value at 6th round.
Yeah, when you get somebody.
Some people had him in the 4th. Yeah.
Then I had to put them up a little bit higher. Originally, I had them at 9 or 10, but I bumped them up because of that. So Tampa Bay for me, just like for you, number 8.
Both had him 8th. Okay. Yeah. All right, my number 7 is the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, so we're gonna have 3 NFC South teams on my list. Carolina Panthers, they got Monroe Furley in the 1st round, their future left tackle. He's pretty raw, only started 1 year, but he don't have to play right away because their offensive line is set. Lee Hunter in the 2nd round, he was one of the most productive defensive tackles in college football. And then I got to talk about this. Sam Hecht, center, Kansas State in the 5th round. God, to me, he is I had him as number 1 center, pure center, thinking he can play right away. And Zakee Wheatley, safety, Penn State, 5th round also. Both those guys could have gone 3rd round. So, yeah, Carolina Panthers, I didn't dislike any of their picks.
Okay. All right, I'm doing a bunch of stuff over here because I'm trying to be as smart as you on these picks here. So I'm not sure if I'm going to make it or not, but we're going to try here. So next for me is number 7. They didn't have a 1st round pick. They traded down in the 2nd round pick but still got a really good linebacker out of Georgia. And then I like a lot of what they did from then on out. C.J. Allen is expected to be a day one starter. He's a really good linebacker. I know you projected him well. You liked him as well.
Yes.
And then, what is it? I believe his name, Halkey, is how you say it? Is that right?
I think it's Halsey, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Something like that. He was really good out of LSU as well. So for not having a first round pick and then for trading down in the second round, I like their first two picks a lot. And then I gotta be a little bit of a homer here. Down in the sixth round, they got Caden Curry, edge Ohio State. And I think he's a better player than most people give him credit for. Is he going to be some huge guy that everybody's going to know his name next year? He will not. But again, a rotational piece. And I like a lot of what the Indianapolis Colts did. So I put them at number 7.
They got Deion Burks in the 7th round. He's got neck and head injuries, but Daniel Jeremiah had him 70th overall player. I didn't have him quite that high. But if he stays healthy, that's an absolute steal. I originally had them 8th and 9th and 10th. They're my 11th team. I kept looking at other teams, and I had to move them out. If they had a first-round pick, they probably would have made it. They had a very good draft. Just couldn't quite put them in my top 10.
Okay.
My number 6, you've already mentioned them, New Orleans Saints. Like I said, I really, NFC South, I liked all their drafts. Jordan Tyson, he's just so good. He's so smooth. He's balanced. He's polished. He gets open. Somehow he's just going to be good. If he stays healthy, he is going to be one of the best receivers in the NFL. I love watching him. I know you know him very well too. Christian Miller was a really good pick. Oscar Delp tested off the charts. Georgia needed to feature him more. Right, but Bryce Lance in the 4th round. His athleticism was like 99.8th percentile. He's tall. He's fast. North Dakota State, so what? He should have gone at least 3rd round. Like at worst, he's a deep threat. But I think his upside so much more. I absolutely loved the Saints draft. Like you mentioned, they got really good weapons for their quarterback. In fact, I probably should have put him higher in 6, but that's just where it fell.
Well, let me give you some baseball breaking news here. Jonathan India is done for the season. He's going to undergo a labral repair surgery. So Jonathan India for the Kansas City Royals out for the season. And then I don't know if you saw this or not. We're doing football here. The Titans president of football operations, Chad Brinker, announced he's stepping down. There's a big statement here. I'll put it up on our X account. You can go over and see it.
Okay.
Do that right now. All right, there we go. So New Orleans, New York Giants, Tampa Bay, Indianapolis, and now I'm going to be interested to see if you'll agree with me on this one, especially as high as I have them at number 6. But I love their number 2 pick. I love their number 1 pick. And then I like some of the things later on in the draft. I got to give them props for what they've done. 8 picks, a tight end, multiple linebackers, and they just bolstered a defense that was already really good with a guy named Caden McDonald with their 2nd round pick. I put the Houston Texans at number 6. The guard from Georgia Tech is going to be a starter day 1. Then they strengthened that defensive line. They got themselves a good offensive tight end from Michigan. And then on down the line, I like a lot of their picks. And in fact, Lewis Bond, a wide receiver of Boston College, I think he's got a chance to be special. No, a contributor. Yes. And when you get that in the 6th round, I like that for them. So I put the Houston Texans at number 6.
They didn't make my top 10, but they were under consideration. Would have been in my top 15. Just couldn't find a spot for them. It's one of those things where like 24, 25 teams look like they did good. You know, there really aren't a lot. There's like 3 or 4 teams that been really bad, but most teams look pretty good in this draft. So you just have to. I just couldn't find a spot for them. My number 5 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Love Max Iheanacho, offensive tackle, Arizona State. I've talked about him so many times. You watch my channel. I cannot say more good things about him. The person, the player, the upside. Somehow, I think he's going to be their franchise left tackle. Jeremy Bernard, was great second round pick. Jennings Dunker, late third round. I thought he'd go a round higher than that. And they had a good day 3. You mentioned you love the pick, Eli Heidenreich, at the end with Navy. He has tools you can work with. I think he could be a good slot receiver. And Pittsburgh got better. They had a lot of picks. They absolutely got better. Didn't love the Drew Aller pick, but they had 3 third-round picks, so why not use one on take a shot? So, yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers number 5.
All right. So you've got a team from that division in the 5th spot, and so do I. My 5th round selection, I couldn't put them any higher than this because I think I would have been a homer had I have done so. But I do not like what the Arizona Cardinals did overall in their draft, but I do like what the Cincinnati Bengals did in theirs. They got Cassius Howe, which basically is a younger version of Trey Hendrickson. I said that they needed help on defense. Everybody said they needed help on defense. So they went out with the 2nd pick and got a pretty good cornerback from Washington. Excuse me. Then they got a center from Auburn. The wide receiver, number 4, we know about his problems. We talked about that on yesterday's show. If you guys haven't had a chance to do that, go back and take a look at that, Mr. Young. But I like a lot of what they did, especially in the upper rounds. They went after the defense that they needed to, and I can't fault them for that. So Cincinnati, number 5 for me. Who's your number 5, sir? Or is it 4?
My number 4.
4.
Yeah, 4 is, even though they didn't have a 2nd round pick, I liked every single one of their picks. And that's Washington, the Redskins. That's what it should be. Oh my God. So, okay. I don't know if they just sat there and let the board come to them. They didn't. I don't think they traded up. I don't think they traded down. I think they just made their picks. Sonny Styles, 7th overall, absolute steal. I think I had him as the 4th best player. Antonio Williams, wide receiver, Clemson, went 71. I thought he'd go late 2nd round, which is like 5th in the late 50s. He goes 71. He's so dynamic after the catch. They need another receiver opposite Terry McLaurin. Then they don't pick into the 5th round, but they got Joshua Josephs, edge rusher, Tennessee. I thought he had a chance to go in the 3rd round. He's a designated pass rusher only, but he had a really good season. Katron Allen, running back, Penn State in the 6th round. He was my number, I think, 4 or 5 running back in this class. They got him in the 6th round. Matt Golban, he was in my top 100. They got him 209, center from Michigan State. He can play all 3 interior spots. At worst, he's a backup at those spots. I just cannot believe they got these players at that spot. They would be higher on my list if they had a 2nd or 4th round pick. They took a quarterback, Rutgers, in the 2nd round that I never even watched, but I don't even care because it's 7th round. But yeah, Washington, God, from what they had, what they got is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, they were my number 11. They're not going to be in my top 10. I flirted with them and the Giants and the New Orleans Saints at the bottom. And it's really hard for me. These top 4 teams, they can kind of be interchangeable too, but I had to put them in some kind of order. So I decided to do it this way. My number 14 is going to be the team that you repeat 3 times in a row, the New York Jets. I do love David Bailey. They got him at the number 2. And then you've got to love the fact that they went out and they addressed their needs. We have said on this very show multiple times, before you get the running back, get the line in front of them. The Jets are going to get a quarterback next year. We all know they are. And they got 2 really good weapons in this draft so that they can be there when they get their quarterback next year in Sadiq and Cooper Jr. I'm not quite as high as some other people are on Cooper Jr. I heard Joel Klatt just like slobber and drool over him on his podcast this week.
Oh, during the draft, he slobbered all over him. He wouldn't shut up about him. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. But I'm not that high on him, but I like the weapons they got and where they got those weapons at. So, especially with those first 3 picks, I had to put them in the top 4, the Jets, number 4.
More on them later. My number 3 is the Las Vegas Raiders. I know it's easy when you're in the 1st round, 1st overall pick. And I was like, maybe I can move them down, but I just couldn't move them past 3. Tre'Davious Stukes, he's an older prospect. He's going to be 24. But his film was incredible at Arizona. I mean, he's a playmaker. He can play slot corner, maybe play safety. He's so dynamic. And then K'Ron Crawford, edge rusher, Auburn, like that 3rd-round pick. Trey Zune, though, oh my gosh, 91st overall. He was one of the best pass blocking offensive linemen in college football last year. He did a great job against Ruben Bain. No one else did a great job against Ruben Bain. He might not be able to stay at tackle, but I think he'll be a starting center or guard. I don't know why he just fell that. I just don't know why he fell. And when people are projecting him like the 200th best player, they're like, well, he's not a great athlete. Well, he had one of the best workouts an offensive lineman had. I just don't understand even how he fell to 91. And they took a shot. Jermon McCoy has a knee issue, but 4th round, why not take a shot? Mike Washington, running back, Arkansas. He was expected to go higher. Got him in the 4th round. Yeah, Raiders really nailed this draft. And, of course, Fernando Mendoza will be your franchise quarterback. So, Raiders, number 3.
All right. I'm not near as high on a lot of those people, including Fernando Mendoza as what you are. I think he almost was the selection by proxy as far as that part goes.
Don't give up on him.
Sure. Yeah, I think he's more of a...
Don't bet against him.
Don't bet against him? Is that
Don't bet against that guy. You thought he was more what?
I thought he was more of a system quarterback.
I disagree, but okay.
Okay, and you're allowed to. You're allowed to be wrong. Anyway, who was your Dallas Cowboy guy?
My friend?
Yeah, who's your Dallas Cowboys friend?
John.
John?
Yeah.
John. Stick with me, buddy. Make much more sense right now. Number 3, the Dallas Cowboys. They got Caleb Downs in the 1st round, for God's sake. Then they went out and they got what they needed, an edge guy from UCF. So they got the best player, in my opinion, in the entire draft, Caleb Downs at safety, the one that I wanted the Arizona Cardinals to take. Then they got a good edge rusher. And then just listen to the schools. Their next pick, Michigan, then Penn State, then Florida, then Alabama. They went after these big schools, got themselves some great people from those schools that have had tons and tons of experience. 5 of their 7 selections were on defense, and we all know they needed defense. If I'm going to give other teams credit for going out and getting what they needed, I need to do the same with the Dallas Cowboys. And because they got Caleb Downs and Lawrence, I'm going to bump them up and put them at number 3.
Okay. My number 2, you've already mentioned them. It's the New York Jets. Oh my gosh. I would have actually gone over Reese over David Bailey. I didn't love that pick. I had Bailey 8th, but even so, I mean, he's a really, really good edge rusher. So I get why they did it. But the next 4 picks were just unbelievable. Kenyon Sadiq at 16. It's like you have to make that pick. Sometimes someone falls to you. It doesn't matter what position you play. You just have to make that pick. Kenyon Sadiq is going to be a nightmare for opposing defensive coordinators. He's so fast. He's just going to be such a weapon. Omar Cooper Jr., it's kind of about where I had him going, I think around 30, but he's a slot receiver. They already, they got Sadiq and you have Garrett Wilson, and now they have Cooper to play the slot. They have Cooper to play the slot. Another good value there, late 1st round. There were people thought they'd take him at 16, which I thought had been a reach, but 30, I like it. D'Angelo Pons at pick 50, he has everything but height. Everything but height. If he was 5'11 and a half, he would have gone in the teens. He goes at pick 50. Oh, man. I don't care that yes, you don't want him covering Mike Evans, but, I mean, the Jets going to play the 49ers? Probably not. D'Angelo Pons can be the steal of the draft. Darrell Jackson Jr. in the 4th round, really good run defender with upside from Florida State. And even, like, their 6th-round pick, Inez Cooper, guard Miami, that was good value. VJ Payne, safety, Kansas State, 7th round. Cade Klubnik, that was a dumb pick, but that was a wasted pick. But other than that, like, the Jets got better and they got impact players. They got guys that can be playmakers. They got 4 of them in this draft, knocked it out of the park. I just couldn't put them number 1 because someone did even better, if that's possible. But this is an amazing draft for the New York Jets, and they needed it.
They did. They needed this draft. I had them at 4. I wanted to put them a little higher, but I didn't, just because I looked at them and said, well, pretty much anything they take is going to be better than what they got. So I put them down a notch because of that.
Nico Horner, man, I tell you what, he is just a stud. 2 runs they're going to score. He just came through. 2 strikes, 2 out. I love Nico Horner. Yeah.
And we talked about him earlier in the show.
If I have a son, it might have to be Nico. It might have to be. I might have to talk to Sean about that.
So, Cheese, I hate doing this. I really, really do. But I've got 2 division rivals from my number 1 team as number 2 and 1.
I think I know who you. I think are they AFC North team?
It's killing me.
AFC North. Oh, okay. I think. Well. Okay, go ahead.
Number 2. They used to be called the Steel Curtain. They're just an aluminum curtain. That's all they are. So we'll go with that first. But, man, they had a great draft. Number 1 overall, I said this on the show yesterday. Go back and watch it. It was a great show that we did just on the NFL stuff. I think they're going to be better with Max Iheanacho more than they would Lemon at receiver. I think this is going to be a great long-term fit for them. I know he's not going to be exactly what everybody wants this coming season, but I think long-term he's going to be. I love the Bernard pick from Alabama, wide receiver. You brought it up. I certainly agree with you. A lot of times, Ty Simpson, who we talked about earlier in this show, would go to Bernard more than he would anybody else in tough situations. I like that, and I think that you're going to see Pittsburgh do the same thing. I didn't really like the Drew Aller pick. I don't know a whole lot about the cornerback from Georgia that they got, but I do know a lot about Dunker from the offensive tackle from Iowa. I like him. I'm a little higher on him than I think you were. And then, just skipping because of time, man, when you get Eli Heidenreich, running back out of Navy, and I agree with you. I actually watched some film on him over the last couple of days just because I love that pick. I think it was the second greatest feel-good moment in the whole entire draft. I've got to agree with you. I think Heidenreich might be the best slot receiver that's come out of this draft. I like what he does. That kid just won't go down. I watched him just barrel over people over and over and over again. The more I see him, the more I like him, even though he plays for the aluminum curtain in Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh for me, number 2.
Well, they draft him as a running back, so he might play running back. I'd put him at slot receiver. That's just where I think he's best.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I don't know how you
was running back too.
I don't know how you like Jennings Dunker more than me when I said he should go a whole round ahead of this, but okay.
Hey, I like him, man. Huge man. I love the mullet. I love the ginger.
I mocked him in the late second round in my second round mock. He goes late third. I'm shocked that he was still there. He was so good in college at tackle. He's going to move into guard. I think he can start right away at left guard for them. I just want to know. There's some teams. If you look at the third round, especially there were so many dumb picks. People taking guys that are 5th, 6th, 7th round talents, and some of those teams needed offensive linemen. It's like, why did you pass on Jennings Dunker? Like, what are you thinking? Like, it's crazy to me. Okay. My number 1 is the same as your number 1, obviously. I went with the Cleveland Browns. Andrew Berry had been one of the worst drafting GMs for many years. The one for Chris Greer in Miami, probably worse the last 5 years. Pretty good last year minus the quarterbacks. You got Harold Fannin Jr., you got Quinshon Judkins, you got Dylan Sampson, you got Carson Schlesinger, so Mason Graham. So he had a good draft. Maybe not great last year, but this year, holy crap. He could have just sat there at 6 and taken Spencer Fano. No, he traded back, got a 3rd and a 5th, still took his guy, probably the most athletic lineman in this class, 5-position versatility. Casey Concepcion, I had him 16th, got him 24. Best separator in the draft, cleans up the drops. He is going to be just a monster NFL player. Denzel Boston had no business falling in the second round. Nope. They needed multiple receivers, got him. Manuel McNeil-Warren, you talked about him last night. I still don't understand how he fell. He is a playmaking safety. Austin Barber liked the value there in the 3rd round. Maybe he can develop into franchise left tackle. Even they had some really good day 3. I can't. I'll just stop. But the Browns knocked it out of the park. Still don't have a quarterback, but their roster all of a sudden is looking not so terrible.
Well, they do have a quarterback. They got Taylon Green from Arkansas in the 6th round with pick number 182. So
he's the best quarterback on the roster.
He might be, actually. That's sad to say, but he might be.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, yes, I'll start in the 2nd round and kind of climb back up. So Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the safety from Toledo, I think he's going to be fantastic. And what value they got for him there at pick 58. So if you look at all the teams, and you say, okay, maybe the Jets might beat them. But who got the two best wide receivers as a duo in this draft? You've got to put the Cleveland Browns up there with Concepcion and Boston. And to be honest, I probably would have had Boston above Concepcion. I like him that much. And
they're very different too. Like you got like Boston's this big physical contested catch guy. He's going to win. He's goal. And then you got your separator Concepcion. They're going to play off each other so well.
And they've got a good tight end, so they'll make that tight end even better as well. So
yes,
I'm a little scared actually.
Running back. Yeah, they have two good running. They got their offensive linemen in the first, like 9th overall.
All of a sudden, the Cleveland Browns might not be the laughingstock of the NFL. And in round one, as you mentioned, they did it exactly how you should do it. They couldn't have played it any more perfect. They traded down, got a couple more picks, and they still got the guy they wanted originally when they were supposed to pick. So for that, I had to put them at number one. You can't ask for anything more from a from a draft standpoint.
They filled needs, and they filled their biggest needs too.
Yes, I agree.
Besides quarterback, all the other needs they filled.
They did, but I mean, I don't know if they can ever fill the quarterback need. They're almost cursed as a franchise. That's the only thing I take solace in as a Bengals fan is they still don't have a quarterback. So
bring back Kosar, the best quarterback that I've ever. I mean, Kosar, right? Is he their best quarterback?
Yeah.
Who's better? Since Kosar, who's better? I mean, he's a little before my time, but I mean, I know the name, obviously.
Well, no one since Bernie Kosar has been better, so you can't say that. I mean, I even saw him on the TNA pay-per-view the other night. They were in Cleveland, so he must have needed some additional money because of his organ transplants or whatever. So he had to come on to do some. He smacked the guy with a chair. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm happy that he, the transplant went well. I'm happy he's doing well.
Yes, all of us are. Man, this has been a great show, buddy. We're going to keep it under 2 hours and 30 minutes, even though you said, hey, can you keep it under 2 hours? I said, sure. And then we did this.
Well, I mean, you know me, I draft. I'm going to keep talking.
Yeah. We did almost a half hour just on this, the lights out list itself. Yes. So, yeah. All right, buddy. Anything you want to add to the end of the show?
Yeah. So I'm doing on my channel at Football with Cheese, CHEZ. Make sure you check it out. Subscribe, hit the bell, all that. And my X is Football Cheese. I'm doing draft recaps division by division. I've done half of them so far. I've done the South and I've done the North. I'm going to do the West next and then the East. So make sure you do subscribe to my channel and check those out. So I'll break down the teams a little bit more than we did.
Okay. Really? You're going to do it a little more than we did?
Well, just last night we focused on players last night. Like we focused more on players. This was quick. Trust me. In the videos, I talk much more about. I talk about each prospect. Wow. And the last thing I'll say is there's a prospect that I just need to talk about because he's such a good run defending edge, and that's Keldrick Falk.
He's a edge rusher that defends the run really well.
Yes, he can't rush the passer, but he can defend the run, and that's what's most important for a pass rusher.
Yes. Okay. Well, at least he has one good trait.
Yes. He can defend the run. So good at that.
All right. All Gloves Off SM is the X account for the show. Cheese's X account is Football Cheese. Our YouTube account is All Gloves Off Sports Media. Go over and watch it. We got a lot of different stuff going on right at the moment. And then Cheese's is at Football with Cheese on YouTube. So go do all of those things. Tell a friend. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss anything we're doing because we've come on a few times and done some special stuff. The draft is kind of winding down a little bit. We'll focus a little bit more on baseball, but we'll make sure that we do some things on the college draft next week as well. So for everybody here and all of you out there, thank you very much for listening to us. And as we say at the end of every broadcast, the only thing that's fair in life is a baseball hit between the third and first base lines. Good evening, everyone.